It's the Bennington Show. I'm Ron Bennington. There's Gail Bennington.
Yo.
And I'm Ron Bennington. Started off as a salute to our friends from Canada because Gord Downie, the lead singer of Tragically Hip, which I consider to be like Canada's band, passed away. And we knew that he had that brain tumor and stuff years ago. That's why they got to do that. They pulled together for that final tour. But it's still like... 53 doesn't seem.
Yeah, it's so sad, and it's a rock god death.
It is a rock god death, particularly a Great White North rock god death, and any border town, all the border towns who were able to listen to Canadian radio, because Tragically Hip, for whatever reasons, just were never picked up by American radio. But if you lived in Buffalo, they were your band. Syracuse, Rochester, they drew there. And that's always the odd thing about exposure. Like the bands that got the exposure for the right songs get to hang around forever, and the bands that didn't, kind of, you never break through after a while.
Yeah,
it's almost like when you see a guy who's had a sitcom in the 80s. He's always going to draw in a club,
right? Always
going to draw in a club. But then you take a guy who has killed in clubs and theaters, and it starts to fall off. David Brenner always comes to mind. Gallagher is another guy.
Yeah.
Just people forget Gallagher had like 18 Showtime specials. 18. One 4-year run at a sitcom probably would have been bigger for draw purposes. All right, it's the Bennington Show. Chris Stanley bandwagon jumper wearing his Yankees cap. And I saw him and Lord have a moment in the hall.
Did you?
Another guy I never saw with a Yankees cap on before. And suddenly now, you know what I mean? It's Team Yankee.
They're saluting each other.
This is why people hate the Yankees. You know what I mean? Because everybody comes out of the woodwork as, that Hillary Clinton putting on the Yankee cap thing that probably cost her the presidency. Game 3 today, I think 5 o'clock.
5 o'clock.
And I walked past 30 Rock, and they have bleachers set up for people to watch the game and these big screens out there.
Oh, wow.
So suddenly, 30 Rock, big Yankee fans. If you take a guy like Vito, and in protest, he's wearing a Mets cap backwards.
Insulting.
As a way of saying... he lives in pain.
I respect that more than anything.
I don't know if the cap makes a lot of sense when it doesn't have the logo on the front. Like the catchers don't want to wear their caps backwards, but there's no other way that they can do it. They have to. They're forced to wear that cap backwards. And why is that the only hat that it's okay to wear backwards? There's no other hat. You're like, fuck this. This looks cool. Putting this on backwards.
Backwards cowboy hat.
I tried to walk around with a backwards football helmet for a while, and people are like, dude, it's just not doing it. All right, so much stuff in the news. There's this Anne Frank costume that I believe, Chris, is it banned now?
Yes, they pulled it from the shelves.
It's no longer on the shelf.
And this is a child's Anne Frank costume for Halloween.
Now, I would never guess that was an Anne Frank costume. You'd have had to tell me.
I know. I would have thought, is she some sort of an American Girl doll? Like, what is this?
Like a Matilda almost?
What's this up here? She's got like a flask?
No, that's, I think,
the
pinned
diary.
to her.
Okay. That's the diary.
I thought it was the Jewish star that was pinned to her coat. But I
can't tell what it is, but we don't have anyone that can make that a larger picture. No one here knows how to make that a larger picture.
It just seems to be a tag with nothing. It doesn't seem like to be there anything actually on the tag.
What does this costume cost? Because I like the beret, of course.
It's for a good deal, $24.99.
Yeah, but it looks like you're getting about $2 worth of stuff. All right, so every year we have this thing about is something offensive or not. And here's my rule of thumb. If you make it up yourself and offensive, that's Halloween. You know what I mean? That is Halloween. But when it's sold by a corporation, yeah, they have to take some shit. Because if you're doing it yourself, you're like, I'm going to blow my friends away. You know what I mean? I'm going to make everybody think this is fucking crazy. Look, I have Tom Petty costume. Tom Petty zombie costume. And your friend's like, oh, you asshole. But if you put out a Tom Petty zombie costume
not good.
And you're trying to make a profit on it, then yeah, people can rain shit on you if they want to. That is, and first of all, I honestly believe that every Halloween costume should be homemade or nothing.
I agree. I stand by those rules because I was raised on those rules. My mom always made my Halloween costume. And then when I got older, I started to help her. But there was no pre-bought in a package a costume.
Yeah,
ever.
that's ridiculous. And America's favorite PR guy, the Scaramucci, the Mooch. And I'm going to tie this in with the Anne Frank, even though it's a loose fucking thread, but I'm going to do it anyway.
I see where you're going with this.
He took some shit yesterday because he put up a poll on his Twitter. And you can do these official Twitter polls. I'm not on Twitter, but I've seen the polls before. Do you like me? Yes. Do you like me? No. And he put up, and I guess he made this up himself. I don't think it's a poll you could use, but how many Jews were executed before World War II? 1 million, 2 million, 5 million, 6 million, something like that. Now, what was his intention there? I don't know.
Why did he make this Twitter poll? And the way he has it laid out, it's like less than 1 million. So already, you're like, that's already being like just a shabby less than 1 million.
Because that's what I had a guy that used to do my show who was a KKK guy, and he said, how come you never see anybody with the number on their arm that's like 600,000, 500? I go, I don't know how they did the numeral system. I don't know anything about it. You know what I mean? But I've felt no reason ever to fight the 6 million Jew thing, or why you would feel better if it was 1.2 million Jews.
Right.
I get numbers, you want to be exact, but it's not an exact science that we're dealing here. It's an atrocity. And not even a war crime. It's a pre-war crime. It's still fucking mind-blowing to this day to figure out what the intention was there.
It's also interesting because I see his options there. So then it goes up to between 1 and 2 million, between 2 and 3, and then it says more than 5 million. He doesn't even make 6 million as a definitive number.
But I don't know what he even hopes to gain from this. And it's not like there's going to be a lot of World War II historians popping in on this. It's just regular people.
Right.
But at the end, what was he going to do? Okay, we have a consensus is between 2 and 3 million. I mean, what do you do with that information that you're polling on?
I have no idea why he chose to do this. How many days left in the poll? I mean, now I'm curious what most people are saying.
Now, there should have been a picture of the Anne Frank costume there. The winner gets an Anne Frank costume. So Scaramucci is trying to apologize by saying he's going to give 25 G's to something. You know what I mean? Like,
what? He's going to buy his way out of it?
I don't know if you can buy your way out of it with 25 G's. I don't think that you're going to have a lot of people who are offended by this going, okay, 25 G's? Okay, it's worth it. It's not an enormous amount of money.
No.
You're not going to build anything. You could probably get to pay off the intern budget for one semester at the museum, but other than that, I don't know where you're going.
Not good.
I don't know the point of that. Mike, what's up?
Hey, I was wondering if you guys had ever considered doing a GPS of Canada, or maybe one of Western Canada, one of Eastern Canada.
Well, we've talked about it, but we don't know how to do that and keep Rush out. So it's very difficult. It's a very difficult. Not every Rush fan gets their feelings hurt, but we don't all agree. We don't all agree. Rush is fucking great. What about Tom Sawyer, motherfucker? Guy of the head. Because that is a band that is completely beloved beloved.
When I was in high school, I had a friend who he didn't really understand how I liked 60s and 70s rock.
Yeah.
And he was just like straight modern. If it didn't come out in the last 5 years, I don't like it. And then I remember he came to me and was like, you know, I got into a classic rock band. I really like them. You were right. They're called Rush. Do you know that? I'm like, oh no, that's not what I meant. That's not what I meant at all.
People. And you continued being friends. It's the odd thing.
We no longer speak.
Vito, you're like this. I used to go to all the spring training games. Anytime the Jays were playing, wearing a Jays hat, Geddy Lee, 100% a baseball fan.
I like
Never
that.
like, hey, everybody, it's me, Geddy Lee. I want to sing the song. Just a dude sitting in the stands with his hat on. I thought, okay,
That's legit.
makes me dig. Makes me dig a little bit. Mike, another Mike in Canada. What's up, buddy?
Yeah, lost a great icon today. Your phone screener was saying that you opened up with a song. I met my wife at one of their concerts. Tragically hip, Gord, Downie. Sad day for us Canadians.
Yes, it is. It is. And even though when you know it's coming, it's still a sad day. But I do think that there was something amazing about being able to do those final concerts known as the last time.
Yeah.
I mean, I can't imagine, you know, you get a death sentence like this and you go out and do these shows and keep it together, or the other guys in the band. I mean, it's just really, it's heartbreaking and incredibly great at the same time.
I heard from Kingston Pete, who's our buddy, who's a massive Tragically Hip fan, and he was just saying Canada's going to be just laid out today.
Yeah.
But he was also telling me that next week there's he had a solo album that was coming out.
That's also really cool knowing that you're doing that.
Yeah.
That's very Warren Zevon. It's first of all, maybe the best name band in history. It's a really fucking great. It's a great title.
Like, you kind of hear it, and even if you don't know what the music is, you're like, well, you know, that's got to be good.
Yeah, that's fucking cool as shit, because most people just have bad names. You know what I mean? You can't get around it. You're naming these bands when you're 15, and then all of a sudden you're 23, and you're like, Jesus Christ. Why are we called U2? We're like fucking idiots.
It's like babies.
The Beatles is the dumbest name that's ever fucking happened in history.
And like a written pun doesn't really work so well in the long run.
It's the Oneaters. They are the actual Oneaters.
Right.
And at first people are like, oh, the Beatles, like your little bugs? And they're like, no, like the Beat Generation. You guys aren't the Beat Generation. Yeah, we know.
But we liked them.
We did as children. We had Silver Beatles, which is actually a better fucking name than Beatles. You know, at least you'd have a fucking team color for yourself. The Britney Spears, iconic artist, is now an artist, and there she is painting with her tits out.
Very pushed up.
And
oh my god, it's so cute when she's reading.
First of all, when Britney Spears was big, that was everyone who liked her's notebook. Now, do you think this is a joke, or is she?
It's got to be, right? I mean, like,
look at her crib, though. I mean, it's like it's a nice hotel that you would go and stay at.
Her expression of concentration, and she's painting these little, just like happy flowers.
Could she have her fingers further back on the brush either? I mean, there's zero control from where she's at there.
She's not big on detail work.
But I will tell you this, painting is good for you. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to put out a video to show people that you're painting little flowers and just fun colors next to it. But it is a good thing for a human being to do. You feel better after painting.
I love to do it, even though I would not say I have a talent for it, but I enjoy it so much.
You don't have to show a person. You don't even have to show your betrothed your paintings. But it's a great, I don't know, it's almost like a stress reliever. You're connecting to the subconscious, just like if you have a little keyboard at home and you're playing it.
Yeah.
You're not good, but it feels fun
nice
to play along or something like that. It's good for you.
I will say that I do dress similarly to her when I paint, though.
What do you think she would sell these paintings for? Because I'm about to go 10 G's for flowers. That's, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, if she were to sell, even though they're very simple, you've got to go at least a couple G's for those babies. It's a Spears.
I think people don't understand that most musicians also paint across the board.
Yeah.
A lot of writers paint, just actors paint. Very few of them, get known because in the art world, it's a very strange thing to get popular in the art world, but they want you to be committed to art, right? To the fine art. They don't want to think, like a celebrity can have a number one, weight loss book. And that annoys people in the publishing world. Or, a guy who did a sitcom could write a bio and just shoots right to number one. My Life and Times on King and Queens was a gigantic fucking bestseller. But I get it. But like I said, you do it for yourself. Now, if you were a fan of Britney Spears and could buy that, people pay for autographs.
I know.
To pay for a painting is a much fucking cooler thing.
Yeah, think about this. If somebody said to you, look at this, I have a CD signed by Britney Spears, you'd be like, okay, whatever. But if you went over someone's house and they're like, Britney Spears painted this, that's kind of a unique
I'd be staring at it.
That's kind of unique.
The Christie Brinkley story about her daughter, I don't know which one of you guys put this up.
I did.
And the purpose was what?
Just that she's an attractive young lady. I didn't realize she had a 19-year-old daughter.
Well, she has the girl's a model.
Yeah, she's going to be in Sports Illustrated swimsuit this year
with her mom.
I don't believe the mother's in. I think it's just her.
Now, would you guess that was her daughter, or would that be a surprise to you? Because I don't think I would guess. And she is a very pretty girl. But.
You know what? Being told it already, I don't think I would have guessed it, but now I'm looking at her, I can see the likeness for sure.
I don't think I would have guessed. I would just think, okay, this is just a new Sports Illustrated model.
See, I will say this. This is a very beautiful girl. Mm-hmm. But Christie Brinkley used to jump off the page. Right? There's something about modeling that most of us don't understand. You can see it with certain actors, too, where you're like, man, that person was great in that movie, but they did nothing. Because whatever that connection to the camera is. So I'm gonna have to see some better pictures, but to compare her to her parent is not exactly fair either.
Because her daughter has a purity about her face that is like, she's got what is it, like Island of the Blue Lagoon kind of prettiness.
Very good call. Very good call.
It's very youthful, but her mom had sexiness.
Now, let me I don't mean to correct you, but there can't be an island of the Blue Lagoon. It's just simply Blue Lagoon.
Good point. Good point.
The next one was called Mountain of the Blue Lagoon. This is just off her Instagram.
Yeah, this is on her Instagram.
All right, so that's not fair yet. I mean, we got to see the Sports Illustrated, and somehow we've got to find what a newsstand is and what a magazine is, and then look at it. But to actually compare. But it's up on the iBang if you want to see her. She's, she's beautiful. But again, to compare her to her mom, this is like Nancy Sinatra. A lot of hits, great career. But compared to Frank Sinatra, not even in the same, not even the same place.
I can relate.
All right, this got sent to us because I brought up musicians. Rick Ocasek is going to be at some gallery in Jersey this weekend. That's my point. These guys and ladies paint. They paint all the time. But I probably would go over to see Rick Ocasek.
I would too. Like, you're right. It is because it's more than just seeing that if somebody has a talent for it, but then you're just like, oh, it's like a look into the creative mind of that person. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I went to this gallery in New York, and it was photography with Lou Reed. And this exhibition should have been called pictures that Lou Reed took out of his apartment window. Because it looked like it was just all shot from his house.
Right.
You know what I mean? There's the river, there's a garage.
Right.
It looks like he didn't even walk around New York. Whoever knew that Big A was going to be such a great photographer.
Yeah.
And his New York scenes, already 2 gallery shows, one in Staten Island, the other in Long Island.
That's
Won't come into the city, which I admire. I admire that. That's just pretentious.
He's above that.
He's above everything right now, okay? We're like ropes on the Goodyear blimp. You're all I got tonight. I'm putting them in the Hall of Fame this year. It's done. Consider it done, everybody.
That's your vote.
Yeah, that's my number one vote.
Is that how people? It's decided? Is it like you get one vote? The people who vote on it?
That I don't know. You'd have to ask Eddie Trunk, who's a member.
Right.
He's a member of that. And he got to be a member from complaining so much. And they just said, just get in. And then he's like, I know, Kiss. This year, I think he's pushing for Judas Priest. But it's come down to, and you can't, I guess, blame when you have an HBO deal, but HBO just wants the biggest stars.
Right.
They don't necessarily want people that aren't stars but were great.
Right.
That's a waste of their time. And then what they want is the biggest stars to put that person in, which is why you will see, Britney Spears putting in the Rolling Stones. Like, you know what I mean? Like, how big do we have to go with this? I want to tell everybody we're going to be out next Monday at the stand with Judah Freelander. That's next Monday. Go to the iBang.com to pick up tickets. The iBang.com to pick up tickets for that. It's going to be a great night. All right, getting into the sexual harassment notes that we're all keeping. Today, Michaela Maroney came out and said that the team doctor used to, say, oh, I've got to work on Michaela. And that happened from she was 13 years old right up to the Olympics that we all saw her in. And Weinstein was accused of sexual harassment again, but not Harvey this time, Bob Weinstein. So these things are just going to keep coming hot and heavy. And Twitter blew up demanding that ABC, The View, and Barbara Walters apologize to Corey Feldman from something that happened years ago when he said he and Corey Haim used to have to deal with all these pederasts.
Yeah, like the clip is really upsetting because she's so kind of dismissive of him and almost seems to question his memory and even like is like, are you sure you want to make a statement like that? This is an entire industry.
You're going to hurt an industry rather than just speaking, his truth.
Yeah.
But she was also an old lady. You know what I mean? Like, not that I'm defending her, but you can't, old people just don't catch up.
Yeah.
They just don't catch up. It's like you can't, if you have an old racist, they're going to be a racist.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Then you just decide, do I want to be around this old racist or not? But to get in a debate with an old racist is a waste of time. And I believe everyone has an old racist in their family. Yes. I have generations of them. And it just, it's never going to be a debate. And I'm sure, generations from now, young people will be telling you, just shut up about robots. You don't understand them. And you're going to stay a robot racist or a machinist, as I believe they're going to be called in the future.
It's kind of embarrassing, but my grandfather's a machinist.
Look, if you hear him say something, if you hear him call a robot a toaster, that's just the age that he grew up in,
Yeah,
okay?
They don't understand it the way we do.
He remembers when hand grenades used to blow people up, not just be somebody that should get the vote.
Happy, I'm marrying a robot.
Yeah, well, don't you bring Astro Boy around here.
Stop calling him that.
Can he clean up a little bit? Because he's a machine.
He has feelings.
That's the thing that's going to happen. And there's nothing you can do. Pappy's going to stay a fucking lunatic. Nothing you can do about it. Just either love him or ignore him and don't go there. But you're not going to change his mind. So that's where I think Barbara Walters is. She's like old school. This is something we don't speak of in public. It happened, it's the business we have and we need to protect the business. But Corey also folded on that too. You know what I mean? Like he also said, look, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Which a lot of victims end up doing when they think, okay, I'm wrong now. No, I'm wrong. But,
and, of course, that's like the perfect example of why it is not always a welcoming place to come forward for things like that, because then people go, are you sure you want to destroy an industry? And then you have the victim going, I don't want to destroy an industry.
That's not what I set out to do. I love the industry. I have a band traveling right now. I have my angels. And I hope they're not mistreated. And there's no reason for me to think they are. I just always worry about the angels. That's all. Chris, you're back on the bandwagon after missing yesterday's show. Yesterday's game.
Oh, I saw yesterday's game.
Really? Because according to the text gang that we have, you were having a late brunch.
I was
and
not.
I got that from a real Yankees fan, Hard Rock Johnny.
Ron, I'll say ask you this: who brunches on a Tuesday? That seems crazy. No,
because you brunch quite a bit.
I have.
You were going on and on about your chickens and waffles, which I consider to be a dinner and not a brunch. That's a very heavy meal for the morning.
I've had it for dinner. I'll admit that.
And what is your odd drink that you have?
I'll have a Bellini if it's available.
Now, is there any other men that drink Bellinis, or is this? Because this seems. I mean, this is a Sarah Jessica Parker drink. Okay, this is Cess in the City. But tell me, Gail, what is exactly in a Bellini?
A Bellini is, I believe, a pear puree and Prosecco.
Now, Chris, this drink of yours.
Yes.
Is there any pear puree involved?
If it's made correctly, yes.
Then, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, the prosecution rests. Remember, he said that he has a pear puree and that he's also a baseball fan.
That's right.
You are what you drink, my friend. You are what you drink.
Then I'm delicious.
I think sometimes it is also a peach puree.
Oh.
If you want to.
What do you prefer, pear or peach?
I prefer peach, but I don't mind a pear.
Why don't you just have a scotch and sit there and try to forget about your problems?
I like scotch a lot. I'm a big fan, but I don't know.
Scotch will make you forget what happened in the war. That's all you want. You want a drink that'll block out the war memories. But got tonight. I'm going to put the cars back together, too, for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. I'll fill in any places they need.
You're going, vocals, please, vocals.
Yeah, I wish, but no. Not if we bring back the big man. Gail, you got a big story. Anything that you care about today?
Well, GQ did a list of the greatest living athlete. Mm-hmm. And before we go to theirs, I'm curious, who would you say is the greatest living athlete?
It's such a difficult thing because you're looking at an athlete in their prime, okay? In the prime of playing.
Right.
And this is a short window. It's Bo Jackson, in my opinion.
Right.
Bo Jackson. But I'd also have to look along at, in his prime, Sugar Ray Leonard. Obviously, there are people that are just going to go straight MJ.
Yeah. That was my instinct. And then I thought...
That's an instinct of any 90s kid.
Yeah.
90s kid, you're going to say Michael.
Yeah. 100%. Because Michael Jordan to little kids was like, he was like a living superhero.
I get that. I'm not sure that he was the best basketball player I've ever seen in my life. I think Magic Johnson, in his prime, could do more than Michael Jordan. Now, basketball people don't even say that.
Yeah.
Most basketball people would not agree with me. But Magic had the perfect fucking name. I mean, that guy was unbelievable. I never saw anybody at that height move like that. Everybody at his height before him lumbered. They were lumbering around. And this guy's bringing the fucking ball down and no-look passes, and he was unbelievable. It would be tough to do. Vito, let me go to you. Living athlete, and remember, Muhammad Ali is dead, okay?
So don't say that.
So that changes everything.
Yeah.
Kobe Bryant was an absolute freak of nature, just right out of high school, coming out, being able to compete.
Are you saying that Kobe is better than Michael? Because you would be the first human being, including Kobe Bryant, who ever said that.
I just think if you're looking at how Kobe went from just being in high school to playing with the pros and leading teams to victory.
So did LeBron. And I don't know if you could say that he's a better athlete.
Well, LeBron is I think there's no more freak of nature than LeBron, because the guy, look at his pure size
you're
and
going
mass.
in the wrong direction. Do you want Kobe or LeBron? What are you doing? You can't pick both. This isn't name the best two living athletes. Take a goddamn stand.
I'm going to stick with Kobe.
All right, you're on your own.
Black Humble?
You're on your own out there.
This is going to be controversial, but I feel that Floyd Mayweather, with his reflexes and conditioning and
God, he's not even the best boxer still alive. He is a guy who dodged fights. You know what I mean? He dodged fights. What do you got, Gail?
I'm gonna say Michael. But
What did GQ say?
GQ said the greatest living athlete is LeBron. It's LeBron James.
First of all, it's very difficult to say somebody who is playing now is the best because you haven't had a chance to look at the full career. With a Tom Brady, at least you could say here he is at this point of his career. But to be a great quarterback is not always the same. There are incredibly athletic guys who quarterback, but it's a very precise thing that you're doing, and a lot of it is more mental than anything else. Yeah, I don't know if I could say LeBron because, you don't have the historical thing of it. At least with Kobe, you could say the career is done.
Right, you
Let's
can step
take
back.
a fucking look at it. You could say, who was better at which age.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, LeBron is this old. Compare him to Michael and Kobe at those ages. But to say overall, I don't know.
Now
I don't know.
their number one spot, LeBron.
Yeah.
Their number two spot, I believe, was Michael Jordan. Their number three, no one mentioned, and that is Serena Williams. They put in the number 3 spot.
Nah, I'm going to do my own prejudice. I had no idea that we were including women in this.
Yes.
If you were going to say women's athletes, I would have, you know what I mean? But I'm not the only one separating, so does the sport of tennis. So let's stop fucking Weinsteining me for 5 seconds.
I just wanted to point out how sexist you all are.
All right, 4 and 5.
Let's see. I don't remember. Chris, do you have the list up there?
Or did they just do the top 3?
Yeah, I thought that they did. Maybe they did do their top 3.
Tim in Memphis.
Yeah, what's up, bud?
Greatest living athlete.
I'm going to say Michael Phelps. He's an Olympian, incredible dude.
It never occurred to me to throw in a swimmer because it's a very difficult thing. I don't think he's even the greatest living Olympian. I think that you got to go to Usain Bolt. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because here's also a comparison with that sport. How many fucking people join the swim team? How many places have a swim team? You know what I mean? It's still, and I'd say the same about tennis. You know what I mean? Like the best athletes don't go into tennis, and the best athletes go in. You'd much be better off to come up with a soccer player. You know what I mean? You look at Ronaldo or one of those dudes, and that would be tougher for an American to figure out. But more people play soccer than. But I don't even know anyone who's ever been on a swim team. I've never even had a friend who was like, "Oh, we had a pool at our school and we took it really fucking serious." First of all, when you have a sport that only the parents show up to watch, there's not, you know what I mean?
Right.
There's not a lot there.
All right, Chris, I sent you the list, but I'll tell you in the 4th spot, they have Bo Jackson.
Okay, that was mine. So
yes, you're on the list.
Yeah, I am on the list.
You've made top 5.
And, you know, if you look at career-wise, I have no problem with people chucking Bo Jackson out. I took it specifically at your peak.
Right.
You were a dominating home run hitter who, you know, a lot of times you think if he would have just dedicated himself to that sport, what would he have done? And if he was just a straight football player, what would he have done? But he did both on a pro level. So did Deion Sanders, who people have a tendency not to like because he was so fucking annoying. And, you know, he's an asshole when people ask him for autographs. But at his peak, he shut down half the field. They didn't even fucking throw. His numbers aren't even as big because people weren't throwing near him. They're just like, good. We got him over there. Let's throw over here. Ryan in Jersey.
I'm going to go Carl Lewis.
Carl Lewis. Now, didn't he have a drug thing? He was in there, a drug thing behind him, so that kind of fucks up his thing. But he was dominating his time. Dave, what's up?
Yeah, there's so much you can say. I really do think it's Michael Jordan. And athletes are great for their time. LeBron's screwing it up because he's just losing too many championships. I mean, this does not look good. He's not accomplishing the task at hand. And, you know, there are things that, you know, Jordan did that, you know, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar couldn't do, and, you know, vice versa. So
right.
It's complex, that whole thing. And I guess I'm thinking too much about basketball. There are other sports, of course, and Brady's getting the job done.
Well, are we all saying that the greatest athletes are in basketball? I mean, to look at the game of basketball?
It also comes to like the figurehead. We all think of Babe Ruth, you know, and he represents for what he did. He's a mythic figure, and, you know, Jordan eclipsed him in a way, and I think people are going to talk about Jordan.
Well, you would
the way they did about Babe Ruth.
Yeah, what is the greatest collection of athletes ever on one team? You would have to say the 1992 basketball team. And some of those guys were older, some of those guys were younger, but that was Jordan's team.
Yeah.
So when you take the greatest fucking athletes and they're all saying, we got Michael Jordan on our team, we're going to fucking crush these fucking Ukrainians. I mean, this shit's not going to be close. LeBron has never had that. LeBron has never had that thing. As great as he is we've got this. We've got LeBron. As a matter of fact, the year that he won the championship was a fucking shock. Like, I can't believe, well, not when it was Miami, but when he was in Cleveland. That was a shocking thing. Here is here's Turtle in Iowa. Turtle, what's up, buddy?
Maha Bennington. Hey, I'm going to put something out there that's a little different. A guy by the name of Cale Sanderson was a four-time high school champion, undefeated, four-time NCAA champion in wrestling, undefeated, and an Olympic gold medalist, undefeated. Not in the WWE wrestling,
right?
But, you know.
Again, you're talking about amateur sport, right? And
sure.
Frankly, because it's an amateur sport, the best athletes are not drawn to it. The best athletes get drawn to where they can make the most money. And that's why we even have a lot of basketball players playing fucking wide receiver now. There's a lot of dudes that should have been basketball players that are like, okay, here's a way to use that sport in football. So you look at all, you know, Odell Beckham's a perfect example. That dude should be playing basketball. It doesn't fucking make sense that he would go, I'm going to be a... and a lot of track stars had, you know, gone out for football as well. Joe in Chicago. Joe.
I'm not even a big hockey fan.
Yeah.
But I think Wayne Gretzky deserves to be on that list somewhere.
Now, well, there's very little doubt that Wayne Gretzky does belong on some kind of list. And yet, could you picture him doing anything else besides?
Yeah. I believe he did make the top 10 or top 15.
He's 11th.
Right,
Okay.
top number 11. All right, so you have more names?
Yeah.
Chris, you found the names?
Yeah. Carl Lewis is
Wait,
fifth.
take us from the top.
Okay, number 1, LeBron James.
Stupid GQ.
Number 2, Michael Jordan. 3, Serena Williams. 4, Bo Jackson. 5 is Carl Lewis. 6, Willie Mays.
Willie Mays.
Willie Mays.
Willie Mays.
Is he the greatest baseball player of all time? You got to put him in the mix. I mean, he was an unbelievable athlete. Okay.
Number 7 is Jerry Rice.
Interesting. Never even occurred to me. No, of course, he's a phenomenal athlete, but it never jumped into my mind.
Number 8, Roger Federer.
I don't even know what to do with that.
Yeah, that one is one. It's like, I'm going to have to trust you on that.
Yeah.
Because I certainly know his name,
I know
so
one
that's
thing.
got to be something.
And this will let you know, during his domination of the sport, the viewing went down. You know what I mean? That there's, if people are going to go, what's the golden age of tennis? You're going back into probably the 70s, 80s.
Yeah.
And number 9 is Diana Taurasi.
Okay. All right.
Female basketball player.
Yes. You don't even have to say that.
Gretzky's actually 10th. Gretzky moves top 10.
All right, so he's moving up. He's
Great.
moving from 11 to 10.
I'm excited. What happened?
11 is Pele.
Oh, I would have thought he would have made top 10.
I would have thought he would have been higher, too.
Yeah.
You're talking about a guy who dominated his sport, changed the sport completely, turned it into a beautiful game. They said there was only one person that he could not score on, and that was me.
Holy shit.
What?
And I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt that he never faced me. Who knows? You know what I mean? We're just 2 different generations, me and it's pronounced Peel.
Oh, Peel.
Peel.
I'll make a note of that. Number 12 is Jim Brown.
Jim Brown obviously dominated the sport in the 1960s, but we've gotten to a place where Jim Brown, Johnny Unitas, all those guys have dropped down, whether that's fair or not
Because
fair.
the game just changed so much?
The game has changed so much.
Yeah.
And like Jim Brown would go on and 11 people would be punching him in a fucking, you know what I mean? Just literally, you'll see, they would just hold him up and just start fucking punching him.
Oh my God.
It was a mugging, and he dominated the game and also dominated another sport in college. The stupid
lacrosse?
Yeah, I can never remember the name lacrosse. But there's claims to this day that he's the greatest lacrosse player that's
Really?
ever played the game. Yeah,
Wow.
he played in Syracuse. Go ahead.
13 is Tiger Woods.
Come on, man.
Tiger Woods, y'all.
I don't know whether we can call a golfer an athlete. I just don't know whether we can. I mean, is fucking Minnesota Fats an athlete? He was great at pool because anybody said there's a great athlete. I mean, there's never.
They're just doing it because he's popular. That's the only reason he made it up there.
I don't know if he's that popular anymore.
Yeah.
He did
I mean,
dominate
he's-
his sport during his prime. You know what I mean? The fact is, he hung around, what, another 10 years?
Yeah.
After he, he's hurt from swinging. I never even heard of a fucking baseball player that was hurt from swinging.
All he does is get back surgeries.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Dave, Seattle.
Ronnie, how you doing?
Hey, what's up?
Hey, how the hell is Diana Taurasi and Jerry Rice ahead of Wayne Gretzky?
Well, what is this called when we got to make sure everybody's involved? It's always got that thing.
Crowdsourced?
Crowdsourced. Jesus Christ. I mean, that you have to make sure you have a
Not in the
Chinese
picking.
person and a woman. It's got that diversity. That's what I'm looking for. Diversity. Tom in Baltimore. Tom, we got you, buddy. Moving on. Here is Al or AI in Iowa. How's it going, man?
Not too bad.
What do you got, bro?
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people think about it, but surfing as a professional sport, Kelly Slater is probably one of the most dominant athletes. If you put that into the mix,
Is Kelly Slater still active? Because it seems like he's been active for 20-some years at least. Maybe even more.
He's got to, I think he does make the list.
The thing about Kelly Slater and about his sport is you never know what the waves are going to be. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I'm sure he's been in contests where it's a foot. You know what I mean? And there's other contests where it's 12 feet. So it's and it's also just a sport of judgment. You know what I mean? Like, I thought Kelly was the best.
Right.
So I'm sure there's wins he got and wins he's lost that isn't fair. Now, even if you look at the sport of golf, you could say they both had the same opportunities and here's what happened.
Right. But it's the same thing. Some people feel that way about gymnastics and diving, anything where it's like, well, you're also looking at like a certain artistic flair and the rules that you guys have set up of what makes a great dive.
Yes.
Like, I find a belly flop to be a great dive. That's me personally.
I like the thing that I do where I catch a ball while I've jumped off the board, or I'm looking off the board, but someone just shot me from the other house, and I just dead fall, and it's not easy to do.
Now, if you get enough height, I like where you try to make yourself completely horizontal, like you're just having a nice lounge and relaxing on the way down.
I had another dive off the high board that it did pretty well for me, and that's never stop running.
The leg's still going as you go down.
I did that one, and I did another dive called the Coyote where I looked like I was running a couple steps, and then I just stopped and stared at the people.
Sadly.
And my friends would love it. Now, it's also, a lot of people debate this, whether it's a sport if there's no defense, that you are just on your own. You know what I mean? Like, there is nothing about how good a guy can catch a football.
Right.
Just on artistic
So
merit.
only team sports could be sports by this idea.
No, because there can be one-on-one sports that are defensive boxing, wrestling, but track would not necessarily. No one is stopping you.
Right.
In track. Even if there's someone next to you, no one is trying to put anything in front of you or take out your legs. Spencer.
Yeah. I was gonna say I'm not a Green Bay fan, but I love watching Aaron Rodgers play, and I think he'd have more Super Bowls if he didn't have such god awful defenses.
Well, if he also didn't have a collarbone like a pretzel. I mean, one of the things you got to do is you need strong collarbones in this sport.
He's 48th. He made the list for GQ.
And that's only because he's, it's happening now.
Yeah. He's impressive now in this era of the NFL.
You need some, and the same thing is going to happen with LeBron. The second that he's done, everyone's going to pick someone else because you get caught up in the now of it, and you're saying these are the best athletes ever. But I will completely agree with him that there's no one else today that I'd rather watch a game that I don't care about than him.
Did any gymnasts make the list in the top 50?
I do not see any gymnasts.
What about that gymnast that made a movie in the 80s where he was using gymnasts to fight other people? Gymnastic stuff. Here's Chris in Hackensack. What's up?
Yeah, it's funny you should bring that up because I was actually wondering if Mitch Gaylord was on the list.
That's him.
Also.
That's Mitch Gaylord. And you are going to go into the pretty good prize posit for that alone. But yeah, you had something you wanted to add.
Yeah, Pele was an icon. He played soccer, football against a group of guys who were, doing whatever they were doing, nefarious activities. Messi and even Ronaldo are dominating a game that's highly invested in physical fitness and all the technology that's keeping these guys at the top of their game. So Messi and Ronaldo, are they not better than Pele?
First of all, you can only compete against your competition at the time. And this is why people, like I said, Johnny Unitas will drop back. But Pele did what he did against the best in the world at the time, using at the time the greatest technology that they had, right? So also you had to look at him that he had worse conditions to prepare than Messi, and he changed the sport. Now, Messi, while he's a great player, did he change the sport? And did he also choke under the international hotline? And everything in sports comes down to, did you do the right thing during the right game? You can't get out of that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Fair enough. Level playing field.
But pretty good prize closet for knowing Mitch Gaylord. And by the way, you could have given me the rest of the day. I wouldn't have come up with the name Mitch Gaylord. Which, by the way, in the 80s, the heat that man took for having the name Mitch Gaylord. It wasn't an easy time. It wasn't an easy time.
Is it because Mitch rhymes with bitch?
Yes, that's it.
Oh,
You
okay.
figured it
Yeah,
out.
I got it.
Yes.
It's confusing to me at first.
So it's incredibly difficult to judge different eras. And I would make the case for a John Kruk that he batted 300 lifetime without ever doing a sit-up or stretching. You know what I mean? There's something incredibly athletic about that.
Uh-huh. I mean,
he did nothing.
In the conditions that he was working in.
Kenny Stabler would drink till 4 o'clock in the morning the night before a game and go out and win. And he didn't even have a great arm. There's something unbelievable about that. Here's Mike, Seattle. Mike.
Bennington, what's going on?
Hey, what's up?
So, you guys are talking about athletes. The first person that comes to mind is Bo Jackson. The guy was just a stud. Both sports, he dominated. And I don't know if he could play basketball, but I'm sure he could.
I don't think he played any basketball at all. I don't think that he did. But I had Bo Jackson for the White Heat, very short time that he was there. Steve in Iowa. Steve.
Hey, Bennington. Hey. I think it comes back to what the guy really did for his sport, and I think of Barry Sanders. He was the best pure running back out there, in my opinion.
Barry Sanders, to this day, sometimes I'll go on YouTube and just put Barry Sanders' greatest runs.
They're pretty nuts.
And just enjoy it. Do you know that, have you seen that lizard running from the snakes thing? That video that's out there?
Yeah.
That was Barry Sanders.
It's so wild.
Barry Sanders, and I lived in Florida, so the Bucks would play the Lions a couple times a year. Both teams would stink, and you would just go and watch Barry Sanders carve up that fucking defense. He was a tiny little guy. He had a face like Michael Jackson. He was never off balance, no matter where his body was. If he was falling, it still looked like he had his balance.
It's like a dancer's grace about him.
There was a dancer's grace and an animal grace of, like we were talking about, that he could run the way an animal would run to escape. He was just incredible to watch. Again, because he didn't play with a fucking winning team. He didn't have the offensive line, all those kind of things. There wasn't a quarterback that was a threat, because anytime you were playing them, you were like Barry Sanders, Barry Sanders, Barry Sanders. You couldn't do what other, like a Marcus Allen had. There was always a threat of a fucking pass. Never when you played against the Lions. So it's always difficult to say what that guy could have been with a better team. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, these basketball teams now, they put together super teams. But one of the things, and I would take, I mean, if I'm going to say top 5 basketball players of all time, Vito's Kobe goes on the list. But I would also think to myself, what did Kobe care about at the end of the day? And I think that was Kobe. Like, he would be, a lot of those points came in garbage time. A lot of that fucking, when he had trouble shooting, he would just keep shooting. You never see him like his teammates going like, Kobe, up my game.
Right.
You know, thank God I had Kobe. You know? And when I talked to Pete Rose that time, I said, when he moved to the Phillies, everybody got better.
Yeah.
Because Pete was concerned with everybody's game. I think Boa who was like a fucking 220 hitter, hit fucking 300 when Pete came in because he had Pete there going, all right, what did I tell you yesterday, right? Here's what you want to do. So, I mean, that to me, winners fucking really do want to win. And that's what I would give Tom Brady. He wants to fucking win more than other people. He certainly wants to win more than I do. I don't give a shit about winning and losing. I remember I said to my coach, we're kids. You know what I mean? I can't get caught up in this. When our team used to get fucking shellacked, I would go and coach third base and just do a bunch of Buster Keaton shit out there. I would act like I was giving signs that didn't exist. We're down by fucking 11. Down by 11. I'm just trying to crack up the bench. But goddamn it, I did, didn't I, Coach? I did. We have that. We have that bizarre memory. And then when the other team feels like you guys don't give a shit, you rob them.
Yeah, and that's a good point.
Take away their victory. Because they're like, what did we do? We beat some clowns. We beat some Upper Chichester fucking clowns. They don't care about anything. They're miming that they're passing a joint around right now. Did you see that horrible injury last night, Boston?
Yeah. That it was in like the first. The announcers screamed when it happened, and then you just saw every player.
Do me a favor, Chris. Don't put it up. I hate to watch injury.
I hate that stuff. Not like if I see a live sports injury and they show it.
Any threat of paralyzed, I hate.
And then that's in basketball. That's a career-ending injury. Like that's your ankle. I don't want to go into detail, but it's
horrible. Now, you know what? Second me if you want to. Go ahead and second me.
Well,
you have every right. Were you watching live or?
Yeah, I watched live last night. You could see
that's even worse.
Yeah, well, that's what shot. Like you just saw somebody on the floor, and then you heard the announcer go, "Oh my God, his ankle's broken. It's broken." And then they zoomed in, and you saw the only thing holding the bone out from falling was the guy's sock. You saw the bone through the sock.
Oh God, get me out of here!
I saw live on a Monday night game the worst thing, and the entire country was watching it. And that's when LT hit fucking Joe Theismann, and his leg bent like it had a fucking knee, and it didn't. And LT rolls off him. And this is live television, and is up, and is just yelling at the other bench, "Come get him," because he had heard the snap. Right? Now, because it was the 80s, the early 80s, they just keep playing it over and over and over. We probably saw it, a dozen times in slow motion, different angle. And then the newspapers the following day were so disgusted. The media did an attack on Monday Night Football for showing this. So now you'll see them go like, we can't really, we're not going to show this again, or,
Oh my
but
God.
believe us, it's bad.
What was the one a couple years ago?
Kevin Ware.
It was that a basketball?
NCAA basketball.
And it was like his knee went to the
That
side.
was very similar too.
That one I was watching live and was like,
that was horrifying.
oh my God.
Everything gets good. Like the way everything got compared to Theismann for years, everything gets compared to Kevin Ware now because that shit was brutal.
So you're saying my time's over, but I did. It's over.
You're done, old man. We got new injuries.
Vito, you sent me some stuff to record after the show today.
Yes, I did.
I won't, because what you just said to me. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to answer you back about any of the bookings that you want.
Look,
this
look
is
what
my
you've
way
done.
of telling you how to play, how this game is played.
What
All
if I
right?
break my own leg right now for you?
I don't know what that means.
Give you new injury.
Jay, what's up?
Benningtons, how are you?
Yeah.
So Jim Abbott, I think, has to be on that list. The guy pitched a no-hitter with one hand, let alone every time he fielded a ball, he had to flip that glove back and forth, catch the ball, take the glove off, throw the guy out.
Yes, we get all that, and he's wonderful, and he should be at the back of Sports Illustrated and one of those stories that makes you feel good about yourself. But it's not fair to say because he had less athletic abilities. You know what I mean? all of us did not get what Michael Jordan was given. All right? We're going for the greatest living athlete. And you can't say, hey, this kid in my high school fucking weighed 300 pounds and could dunk. No, that's not what this game is about.
That's the Rudy Award. That's different.
Yeah, the Rudy Award, he wins. Oddly, Rudy didn't even make the top 10 of the Rudy Award. But I think he won't give up, though. He's still going for it.
He's trying so hard.
He never gives up.
He's the heart of a champion.
How come no one ever said to him, you're a Woody the Wabbit? You're a Woody the Wabbit. Dennis in Rockville Center. Yeah.
I have a theory that nothing is a sport unless somebody's playing defense.
It's not your theory. This is a debate that takes place every single night.
Which you called gravity a defense.
And it's not, it's not up to you and I if it's a sport. It's up to ESPN and Sports Illustrated. Like, I'm not going to, I did the joke about golf not being a sport, but it is there, so it's a sport. There's nothing I can do about it. There's nothing I could possibly do about it. It's a sport. I mean, there's a lot of things in the Olympics. I don't know if I would consider them sports.
The biathlon's odd.
What's that?
That's when you just ski and shoot. You ski around a circle for a while, then get down on the ground.
The skiing, you've got to admit.
The skiing is a sport, even though there's no defense. Unless you consider Timberwolves a defense. Because you can. I mean, and let's give that to Kelly Slater, too. There's never another sport where sharks are around. This guy's got to fucking go to Australia and South Africa to compete. And they're like, come on, you can do this tomorrow. And he goes, yeah, if I don't get killed by a fucking shark. I mean, that's really what's on my mind right now. Right now, I'm just thinking shark, nothing else. Surfers, female surfers, surf in the tiniest little things that you've ever seen, and they all have, because they surf, incredible asses.
Yes,
incredible asses.
Well, it takes a lot of muscles to keep yourself balanced up there.
You sent that thing in by the Rudy of Skimboarders, that old lady.
Oh my God!
Who just kept trying.
The funny thing about it is, I'm laughing at this woman who wants so badly just to learn how to skimboard. But the thing is, like, she has so much more dedication and commitment than I ever would. And then I'm like, she fell again.
Yeah, somehow we feel superior to this old lady. But the fact of the matter is like, you'll go to a beach.
Yeah.
If there's 100,000 people on that beach, 10 are skimboarding. You know what I mean? Like, I have never attempted to skimboard. Because what were you writing? Skinboard?
Yeah.
Chris, come on. At least enjoy the fact that you were writing skinboard over and over. I mean, do you understand how fucking stupid you are?
That's pretty insane.
You remember what this is called, Gail?
Montage of one woman's failed attempts at skimboarding.
So the reason why you couldn't put it, you just kept putting skinboard.
I wrote, yes.
What did you think this was? Some kind of fucking Blade Runner thing that was taking place? All right.
She's a skimboard.
There she is. Right on her ass. Right on her ass.
That one I like. I like the ones where she doesn't fall, but she just keeps running. Why is this so enjoyable to me?
Well, because I love the fact that she's an older woman and she has a lust for life.
I know, she does.
But she also, stop it for a second, Chris. She hasn't figured out the sport at all.
No.
She's still running when she's on a sport. You never have seen a surfer who's running across the surfboard.
You're going to need to plant.
Yeah,
as soon as you're on that thing.
You're going to have to find a place of balance. But it's like she's not like being coached or anything.
No, and she takes some pretty serious bumps.
Yeah. But she does have a lust for life. I wonder where they are, though. There's like zero waves.
She's not even good at throwing the skip.
I think she had it for a millisecond. That's a definite improvement.
All right, so
Fred
now this
helping.
guy's at least throwing it for her. She's still having trouble planting.
Yeah, that guy's a little too deep for her. This is just going on.
I mean, she's already on like 100 attempts. She's not giving up. She's not trying any less hard.
Let me tell you something, though. She has a dedicated tan. That is an all-summer tan she's rocking.
But the thing is, as an adult, if someone's like, hey, give this a shot, you fall down once, are you trying it again? Because I could tell you right now, if I did that once, I'd be like, I guess I can't skimboard.
I would, as a kid, I would have done the same thing. If I didn't pick it up immediately, I was done. Oh, God.
She just won't stop. She just won't
Chris
stop.
is disgusted with her.
Just get out of the way.
Why? She's not bothering a person. There's no one there bothered.
Oh, my God. This is day 2. She's changed bathing suits.
And boards, looks like.
Hey, I've got an exciting call for everybody right now. And you never know who is going to call this show. But see if you can recognize this voice. Mystery guest, say hello to everybody on the
Hello,
show.
everybody. How's it all going?
Spencer Burger!
Spencer!
Surprise!
Oh, my gosh, Spencer!
How's it all going, everybody?
We're good. How are you doing?
Good.
Good. I just wanted to tell you all that I got accepted into the WHUS radio station.
Spencer!
And I want to say thank you to all your support, and thank you for giving me a good reference.
Now, who and what kind of show is this going to be?
This is going to be like a music and some sort of a talk show, but it's a little different from what I learned at Sirius, but there's a lot of similar stuff that apply.
Now, when does the show start?
I'm in the process of training right now. So there's a 4-week training course, and then I got to take an exam, and it should be easy, and then I'll be ready to perform my own shows.
Do you know what you're going to name your show yet?
Yeah, that's the funny you mention that, because I had the training class last night, and he actually asked us what we'll name our show. I'm not sure yet, but maybe I can call it DJ Bergs, something like that.
That's pretty good. I like DJ Bergs.
Yeah.
DJ
I also
Bergs,
like
maybe?
I also like Burger Time.
That's good.
And
Burger Time?
If you get
You're listening to Burger Time.
Yeah. And if you get a sidekick, calling it Burger and Fries.
Okay. We'll see. That could be a possibility, but
What about
there's plenty of options out there.
It's got to have burger in it, though, right? I mean, it's got the burger
Maybe
joint.
We'll give it a try.
Burger Joint's pretty good.
Burger joint.
Maybe you could even call
Burger
them.
Joint.
You could call Burger Joint and see if they'd be interested.
Yeah.
Now,
All right.
What kind of music do you want to play?
Either or, usually, probably like hip hop, rock and roll. Like I'm into those types of kind of music.
You like hip hop and rock and roll? It's a small niche, but one that I think that you could do. I'm so proud of you, Spencer. I really am.
Awesome.
Thank you, guys.
Make
Thank you
sure
guys so
that you
much.
send us some air checks. We want to listen.
Of course, yeah. Feel free to tune into WHUS. I'll text one of you guys, and feel free to tune in when I'm on air.
We definitely will. Take
All
care,
right.
Spencer
I'll let you guys
Burger.
know. Take care.
That's
Bye-bye.
awesome, Spencer.
I like when the interns go on to have careers. That's my favorite thing.
This is a tasty burger.
Ooh, it's good. The Tasty Burger Show. And he comes in with that drop.
Mm-hmm.
Vito, why don't you put an opening together for him?
Yeah, I made that great Spencer Burger countdown once, and I'll give him something new.
I was teasing you for your inability to put together an opening. Remember? That was all going to be a good laugh. Not for you to suddenly feel confident again. You see that lady fucking trying to skimboard?
Yes.
That's all I'm saying. That should be your logo. And I'm not doing the work you wanted after the show today.
No.
I really forgot why I was penalizing him. What was it for?
Because he said your injury wasn't as good as a modern day injury.
Oh, thank you very much. That my injury is in the
I'm
past
sorry, he
somewhere.
asked. I remembered.
He acts like I brought up Achilles blowing his fucking heel out.
We're over that now.
Done. Dunzo. It's the Bennington Show. I'm going to be out at the stand all weekend long this weekend hosting. And then Monday night, your chance to come out to a very cool Unmasked.
That's happening Monday, October 23rd. Unmasked with Judah Friedlander. That's 8 p.m. at the stand in New York City. Go to the ibang.com for a chance at free tickets. This is for Judah's new special, Judah Friedlander, America is the Greatest Country in the United States. Coming up Tuesday, October 31st on Netflix.
Don't miss it.
Charlie in Hawaii. What's up, Charlie?
Hey, the only athlete that I know of that was drafted by the three major sports in America, NFL, NBA, and MLB, is former Yankee and former San Diego Padre, Dave Winfield. What about him?
Yeah, Dave Winfield, great. And he also exploded a bird that time by throwing a baseball.
Oh, yeah.
And it hit the bird and just fucking pulverized it. Dave Winfield, the way I remember it, people were always frustrated with him as if he wasn't great enough. And that happens with certain athletes, that you just expect them to be better. And LeBron is the same way with the number of losing championships.
Yeah, more losing than winning.
It's not fair. You know what I mean? It's not a fair thing to say, you know? And yet we do it.
Also, with the one big issue with the LeBron versus Michael Jordan argument is that people forget that Michael Jordan didn't get to the finals as much as LeBron has. Even though he lost the less percentage of the time, I think LeBron deserves more credit for the amount of time.
I disagree. I disagree. I think the fact that even with Tom Brady getting to the Super Bowl and not winning hurts him in my eyes more than Montana. Montana is a pure fucking thing.
4 for 4.
4 for 4. That's excellence.
Never lost in the Super Bowl. That's some crazy shit to say. And you got 4 of them.
4 for 6? Ooh. I'm going to beat you twice. Because again, it is as great as it is to be consistent all fucking season. We celebrate champions.
Not fucking losers like LeBron.
It's why we don't put the Buffalo Bills as one of the greatest teams of all time. And they were. But that's their fucking fight song. I can't breathe.
Get it, guys. Choke
I'm
artist.
choking on the Super Bowl.
And just like nobody cares about the Warriors breaking that record a few years ago because they lost.
You're exactly right. Nobody cares about the fact that the Patriots fucking went undefeated.
Doesn't matter.
In a fucking 16 and went to... No, doesn't matter. If they win, greatest of all time. Now, not even one of the greatest.
No,
probably the 90th greatest team that's ever lived.
They look like shit.
They're chokers. Dave in Ohio.
Hey guys, how you doing today?
Good.
Hey, I think longevity in the sport has something to do with greatness also, and George Blanda and Gordie Howe are two that played well into the late 40s and 50s in a real rough sport.
Let's be honest about it. Blanda finished his last, I don't know how many years as a kicker. You know what I mean? And backup quarterback. So... George Blanda.
You're garbage.
I don't know. How old was George Blanda when he retired from the game? I mean, I see what Tom Brady's doing now at age 40 is more impressive than being a kicker. According to that, 83 years old. 83 years old he played for.
He retired in 75. So he was 48.
Yeah, he 48, but as a kicker.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. That doesn't count.
And I think he played, quarterback well into his late 30s, early 40s. And he ended up just kicking, and not in an era where we consider we had the greatest kickers.
Oh, no.
If someone made a 20-yard fucking field goal, they would lift it and carry it around the stadium. And then they had to go work their night job as a machinist down at a fucking metal plant. Hey, let's break here. When we come back, we're going to dish. We're going to find out the latest of all the dish. Bennington.
Put on your headphones, Jen's got the news. Let's dish to the gossip they're saying on the radio.
Oh, we're going to dish Jen's here.
The Let's Dish segment is brought to you by Dish. Dish listens when no one else does. Dish tuned into you. To learn more and sign up today, call 1-844-CALL-DISH, go to dish.com, or visit a local retailer near you.
I'm ready to dish.
Well,
matter of fact, I haven't heard anything lately.
I know.
I've been in the dark.
Well, everything's kind of clouded with the whole,
Harvey thing.
Yeah.
So
it's 90% Harvey out there.
And none of that dish is fun. That's dish you can get for,
not good.
that people can get their feelings hurt.
I like who's dating who's pregnant,
Who's canoodling,
who's having a little feud, not, life.
Right. I want to hear who shit their pants on set of a Hollywood film.
These are fun.
Yeah. Well, these Harvey things have been just very
depressing.
difficult.
Well, the good news.
Good.
So
perfect.
Good.
Happy dish.
Jenny Slate and Chris Evans might be getting back together. They were seen out on a couple dates. One of them was with Robert Downey Jr. and his wife, Susan Downie.
That sounds like a boring night.
Double date.
That's boring. Well, I'll say this for Mr. Chris Evans. Are you sure you're not Chris Pine? And then I would say, no, he's a big movie star, right?
Yeah.
He's Captain America.
I still think he's dating over his head with Jenny Slate.
I agree. She is quite a catch. She's quite a catch. I mean, she's so funny.
And
she's pretty. She's cool.
Funny and sexy are the two incredible combinations to have. I'll take either.
And which one?
But when both, forget about it.
And again, I really never remember which one he is.
He's the one that's not Chris Pine.
Chris Pine, I think, is the one I like. He's the one who also did the cowboy movie,
the
Western movie.
Hell or High Water.
Yeah.
That changed all of our opinions of Chris
Yes,
Pine.
now I understand. I get it.
Now, if you were fighting with her, right?
Yeah.
And she threw you out of the house and you called her back 2 days later, could you go, can we start with a clean slate?
I definitely do that.
And that means you take a shower together.
And how would be that? And then if I was out with the Downies, that's what I call them. We're meeting the Downies. And they're like, where's Jenny? We were supposed to order 15 minutes ago. I'll go, she's Slate for everything. And I would hope that would chill things out. Yeah. And then I would go, no, I wasn't in Hell or High Water. I'm the other guy.
Are you sure?
No,
then they're trying to find a way.
I'm funny and likable too.
Well, yeah, the person that saw them on a date said that they were touching and holding hands. And
who's the small child in every picture? Who's that?
What child is that? That's not.
That's not their child. I think it was.
Are you sure?
No.
Maybe they had adopted from Norway. There's a lot of kids being adopted from Norway.
Does he have a
days.
previous child?
I think it's from that movie Gifted that they're standing in front of the poster.
What Gifted? What are you talking about? What is this movie?
They're standing in front
I
of
understand, but what is the movie
So
Gifted?
it was directed by Mark Webb. It was just about he's taking care of this little girl who's super smart. I think Jenny Slate's the teacher, and they bond over.
This isn't believable at all. Nothing about this movie makes sense. Jenny Slate would never be a teacher, and this guy would only have a stupid child.
Yeah.
I could see if he had a child with superpowers, I'd fall for that. Let's keep going. That's a good one.
Yeah, I was excited about that one.
Yeah, me too.
I was really happy.
I don't even think famous people are dating each other as much as they used to. I think it's very rare to see a famous couple canoodling.
Yeah.
Well, Harvey Weinstein. What are you going to do?
Yeah, that's the world we're living in.
Yeah, it's sad. It's really sad.
Well, Billy Joel is
Okay, now we're talking. That's a nice
Okay.
thing.
He's becoming a dad for the third time with his fourth wife, Alexis Roderick. He already has one daughter with Christie Brinkley. So
a new dad. Well,
he's 68.
Yeah, 68 with a new baby.
Well, it's then time for a great start. It looks like he's slowly becoming an Italian fashion fucking house.
Yeah, he does.
I mean, just like he doesn't even. I think that's great because you want you and your child to be in Pampers at the same time. Both you'll be like, yeah, I need to be changed too, dude. It's not just you. Now, I know some people should get angry about this, but I don't care. I don't care what other people do.
The kid's going to be fine. Look at that Billy Joel money.
Oh, Chris, is that what you? It's all money with you.
I'm just saying the kid will be taken care of if he passes away.
That's not all to parenting. You should know that your parents missed out on milestones. It's sad.
Yeah, and they missed out on having money. They missed out on everything. They didn't hang around, and they didn't even tell you were Jewish. Look how shocked you were.
I'm still. It still affects me.
By the way, I tell that story to everybody. Vito, before you get fired tomorrow, come in and figure out how we can get one of these people who know how to trace the background. And we're not doing a DNA test anymore. We're searching like they do on PBS. We're searching out
his
things. And let's just
family history,
where that Jew is, okay? So figure out who could do it for us, and then say we would like to promote them, and for have them to do that for free for our friend, and we will promote them.
Barnes a Jew hunter.
Dude, don't even do those kind of fucking jokes, man.
All right.
That's the kind of shit. That, I mean, you don't have enough Jewish in you to be that disgusting. So
you can't convert for the jokes, Chris.
I'm going to honestly say, on behalf of myself, everybody on this show, Sirius XM and their stockholders, that was really offensive, dude. And you got to just be careful what you're saying these days. These are different times, all right?
All right.
I might not even be able to save you as it is.
Oh, really?
That was a really distasteful joke.
I thought it was okay.
It's also that's not really what they do anyway. It doesn't even make sense.
Go ahead, Jen. I'm sorry. He interrupts Dish every single time with something anti-Semitic. Go ahead.
Well, Ja Rule, he'll be fighting a series of lawsuits against him over the Fire Festival, claiming he too was bamboozled by his ex-partner. And
he was running the Fire Festival, this guy.
Yeah.
I will say this. People with talent never do any of the producing work. They just lazy about it.
Right.
I will tell you about a couple that had a fight not too long ago. And I don't want to say who they are, but you could guess that it's Big J and Christine. And in the middle of this argument, she yelled at him, "You don't have a producing bone in your body." And they told me that fight, and I said, well, that's fucking true. That's absolutely true.
That was the organizer, Billy McFarland. And Ja Rule's lawyer says, Billy McFarland ran the show. My client got wrapped up in this unintentionally. His ideas got hijacked by McFarland.
But here's also what happens with the entertainers. They take all the credit.
Yes.
You know,
if
they
this
take
would have went
all
great.
the credit.
If this would have went great, Ja Rule's like, you're welcome.
Can I just also, I call that the Louis J. Gomez rule. That you come up with a big idea, someone else does all the producing work, and then you're going, I did it again. I did it again.
Pulled it off.
Because he gets 100% of the credit. And for what? You know, saying, hey, we should have a T-shirt. And I give him credit too.
You do.
Mm-hmm. It's not true. Christine does everything. Everything.
I saw Ja Rule at a bar a few weeks ago. I was really excited about that.
Why didn't you bring up like the fucking Fire Festival? Why don't you say I was there, dude?
Well,
you fucking left me stranded.
He big timed me a little. He actually gave me a head nod and then walked up to my black friend, dapped him up, hugged him, literally like pushed by me to do it, and then walked away. And they don't know each other. They've never met. So that was my big issue.
Isn't there some kind of like a black thing where if you see another black dude, you know what I mean? Particularly in a white thing. We saw it in Montreal. The black guys hung out together. And now let's suppose
Jen was invited.
Yeah. And I don't even think 70% of her should have been there. Now, Jen, you think that's okay, right? That the black comics all hang together like that and have a special room.
I mean, white people do it too.
But what if I would have said this? This is the black section over there. You guys will be getting your own drinks sent to you, and you have your own waitresses.
You have to want it.
But they didn't think twice, and they accepted people that were open micers. All right?
It was very sweet.
Was it?
And then I come over to say something to Jen. Everyone gets really quiet.
Like,
I'll leave. Will you guys enjoy yourself?
Whitey.
Chris, we just told you.
Yeah.
There's no reason to turn this very nice segment into your racial bullshit.
I don't mean to insult anyone or be racist.
Is this, Chris, is this your time or Jen's time?
It's Jen's time. It's Jen's time.
Oh my God.
And do I ever have to say to Jen, Jen, that's offensive what you just said.
You've never said that.
And
to
yet
her.
she's able to speak freely. She's able to speak freely. And what'd she do?
Just like saying, Jen, that's offensive.
Yeah. I don't think so. I don't think that was. All right, let's move along, Jen.
Well, one of our latest guests, Taron Killam, he made some comments about Trump, saying that he was embarrassing and shameful when he went on SNL back in 2015. He said it was rough, it was not enjoyable at the time, and something that only grows more embarrassing and shameful as time goes on. We could hear the protests during our table read. As we're reading 40 mediocre sketches, we just hear, no Trump, Donald Trump. He said he's embarrassed because upon reflection, just because of how everyone was right. Every person outside of that building protesting was absolutely right.
Boy, does he hate Lauren. Now, from Lauren's point of view, he's going to have a big ratings week. You know what I mean? I mean, who wouldn't have taken Trump at that time? Who wouldn't take Trump now if you had a TV show?
Right. I guess the difference is like the having him host and celebrate him. I mean, certainly you've had politicians both left and right on that show.
And also host.
Right, true. Giuliani hosted, right?
Yes.
Or he just would come on? No, he's hosted.
He's hosted. I mean, you go all the way back to the first thing of that. They had, I think his name was Nielsen. I can't think of him, but he was a part of the Ford administration.
Yeah.
Host.
It was a super rich guy like in the 90s who was running for president who also hosted, but I can't remember his name.
He's the guy who had the magazine. Malcolm Forbes, is that it? Is that who it was?
It's a different guy.
The guy with the balloon races and all that. It would take you a second to look it up. But yes, he politics has played a big part of that. And if you like that politician, you're happy. Look, it did not change the race or anything like that. It doesn't change
Didn't help
the race. Sarah
anything.
Palin had came in and done the show, and there were people who were like, you just made her look like she's fun. Well, I'm sure part of her is fun. You know what I mean?
Right.
She's not all evil. Trump had hosted that show before he ran.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, I definitely would never say that it's a bad idea to have someone on as a guest if what you do is interview people or if it's news or, you know, that always bothers me where it's like, why would you sit down with this person and talk with them?
Mm-hmm.
But I guess the difference is like having someone as part of the cast feels different. Like if you have somebody like doing something that is like fictional or comedy or something like that.
I've only got one person I would never have on this show.
Who's that?
Kate Winslet.
What? Why? What did she ever do to you?
Does she have to do it for me, to be something?
No.
It's what she did selfishly with that door.
Okay. She didn't let Jack on the door and then Jack died.
Yeah, he died. And the nation cried.
It did
what am I
seem-
saying? A planet cried.
It didn't seem like there was enough room on that door.
So I think there are people that leave so happy with SNL, and there are people that leave a little bitter. And Taron's one of those people. And when he didn't get brought back, we were all surprised.
Yeah, I was very shocked.
And I think it had to go with the fact that he was focusing on this movie.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he was directing and producing and writing this movie, which is just stormed to the top of the fucking charts. Killing Gunther. The Gunther story.
Well, O.J. Simpson, we know he's back out.
Oh, talk about offensive.
Juice is loose again.
Well, he was out in Vegas having dinner at the Palms with his criminal defense lawyer, F. Lee Bailey.
I didn't know F. Lee Bailey was still alive. That's exciting.
That's a dish in itself.
Yeah, I don't think he's practicing law anymore, but why is there a Palm everywhere now? It's become a fucking Applebee's. At one point, the Palm was like a big deal, and now it's like every town has a Palm.
When was that start? Like that was like an 80s?
It was like the 80s high-end thing. And now everybody's like, we're going to the Palm, and it's not a big deal.
We've got a Palm around the corner. You just pointed it out to me.
There's a couple Palms in New York.
There's one at JFK. There's like a Palm.
Thank you.
That's the first time I ate at one. I was like, I'm going to eat the Palm. Oh, wait. This is just a bar, really, in the airport. What the fuck?
You can get a very small steak there. Look how OJ's enjoying his life, though.
He is enjoying himself. He looks great.
I like when he called the parents of the family of his murder victim Fame Horse.
Not good.
It's a hot take, OJ.
Not good.
Did not know that F. Lee Bailey was still alive. As I used to call him during the trial, Flea Bailey. And we all, chili peppers were big at the time. So if I go, did you see Flea Bailey last night? Well, we'd all have a good goddamn guffaw off that one. My friends would say to me, Bennington, you son of a bitch. You get me falling for that every goddamn time. And I said, back at you, champ. I call my friends champ. That's my thing. That way, if I don't remember their name, they still feel good about it. I don't like to be like this. I don't know you. You said we've met, but I'm not saying you don't look familiar, but I have no idea where. Let's jump back into some dish. I could dish and saucer dish all night long.
Well, there's a little dish about Jimmy Kimmel. He said in the New York Times, when he was asked if he hesitated to share his the information about his infant son Billy's health struggle with his audience, he said no, but in retrospect, perhaps I should have. And then he added, because what I didn't think through was that everywhere I went, every day of my life, people would be asking me how my son is doing.
Oh, yeah.
He's
in Brooklyn this week. Kimmel's back in Brooklyn, and people love him. People love Jimmy Kimmel. Jimmy Fallon dealing with a tougher time. He was just on the Sunday Morning Today show, which I have no idea why somebody would say, hey, I want to talk about things. Let's fucking blow off the regular Today show that everyone watches and go on with Willie Geist on the weekend. I don't know why you do something like that. He needs a manager. But he said, look, I don't even care about politics. I don't like it. I can't. The other guys are doing great.
Yeah.
With the politics. I just like, like celebrity culture. And it couldn't look weaker.
It's
right
not
now,
good.
It could not look weaker. It's like the NFL had to come out and say yesterday, we're not going to do anything about the kneeling. Because there's no good move for them. The kneeling's not good for the league. And the stopping people from kneeling is... I don't want to blame this on the president. He takes a lot of shit for a lot of stuff. But if he doesn't stir that up, this thing eventually goes away.
Of course, yeah. Absolutely.
Or now, if you're in the NFL and you're black, how do you not kneel?
I know.
And you got a lot of people say, really, you don't care that the cops are shooting kids? And you're just like, I'm barely on this team. I'm just hanging on by my nails. I can't be the only person who leads.
The third string tight end.
If I squat, is that something? What if I just somewhere between kneel?
What Chris just said was racist.
How?
Oh my God.
You're acting
Chris, back
like
at it again.
A black player can't make it to the first team. Vito, I want you to make me a list of black tight ends. Because Chris is acting like they don't exist. Tell that to the Winslow family. I'm sorry for that. Where do we start? Oh, just Kimmel.
About Kimmel saying, well, that is a thing. It's like you share something with people, and then you're like, I need to get this off my chest. It's important. And then you have to realize when you give information out, then people then feel they own that information. So it cannot be great to constantly, every time you feel okay, they're like, how's your son? And you're like, you get thrown back into it.
And
when you're just like,
by the way, the only answer they want is great. They don't want to hear the fucking truth.
100%. Yeah. People always just want, when they check in, they want to say, I want you to know that I asked, and I want you to tell me a nice answer.
I know Gaffigan goes through that too because of his wife's problem. He's like, I just want to tell jokes.
Mm-hmm.
Just have jokes for everyone. I'm not here to have you guys split up my life with me. Like Kimmel. He cries easy, though.
Yeah.
He is Italian.
He is Italian. They're an emotional people.
Some are very emotional. Others are cold-blooded killers.
They think that's an emotion, to be cold-blooded.
Revenge, I guess, is it revenge an emotion or an action? What is the want to commit, the intention to commit revenge. Look, there's not a famous person who hasn't had their picture taken with Harvey Weinstein.
I know.
There's certainly not a New Yorker that hasn't stood next to Harvey Weinstein.
I bet they like to bring those people up. Like, why were they standing there then? Well,
Right.
they didn't know. We all didn't know.
Yeah, you know how many people you could have tapes of going like this? I love OJ.
It's great.
I love that man. I don't think he'll ever kill anyone. What I like about Harvey Weinstein is he hasn't molested anyone. That's my favorite thing about him.
And mark my words, he never will.
He shan't. He shan't because he can't. Oh, I'm loving the dish today. You're taking us out of the dark.
I know.
Good.
Bringing
That's
us
what
to
I
light.
Yeah.
Happy.
You're bringing the happy part of the news.
Well, there's a couple lawsuits in Dish that
I just thought he was
all time. Chris, you're just so weird.
Why were you
Because the dish tastes good.
Yeah, but you did it
You
weird.
did it to annoy.
I'm not trying to annoy anyone. I'm not trying to be
And you
racist.
tried to do it like sexual in nature.
I don't even like if someone's tasted something good and they go, That's your business.
What would you prefer, or yummy? Yummy.
I've never been around anybody who said yummy.
This is really yummy, thanks.
I'm having major numbs right now.
When I was a waitress, anytime somebody said everything's so yummy, thank you, it just felt disgusting
You should
to me.
say, don't even
It's not my business.
Don't even tip me because I don't want your money. I'll light it on fire.
This is for yummy.
Jem, what do you got?
Well, Blac Chyna is now suing the whole Kardashian clan. Not just Rob.
Every
single
fucking
one.
Kardashian there is.
Even the little babies? That seems wrong.
North is going to be sued.
Just North, stop running around the courtroom. I will lock you up, North.
She's claiming assault, battery, domestic violence, defamation, and interference with prospective economic relations.
Is she saying that the whole family hit her?
No, she's saying that Rob, abused her when they were in the relationship.
Rob.
Why can't his sisters involved?
But now she's saying that, they had the show together, Rob and Chyna, and she's saying that, the other sisters and the mom especially had a hand in orchestrating a lot of the drama that happened on the show.
Yes.
They're producers.
That's like Matt suing the writers of killing Saving Private Ryan. I went through a lot of shit because of that writer.
It's like they did it on purpose.
He put me in grave danger throughout that show. Luckily, I got home. I turned into another person. I had a daughter with enormous tits who ran to me when I fell next to a cross. So, Your Honor, I would like $16 billion in cash because I don't like paying taxes. Look at this little girl with headphones on. While she's
Oh my
just
gosh, she's so
waiting.
cute.
That way she doesn't have to hear all the horrible things in the hall.
Just pretend you're in a different world, honey.
I've got a new thing that I'm into every day now. It's just like when I'm walking through the city, soundtracks.
Oh, that's good.
And I don't go, oh, give me the best of soundtracks. No, I stay on single soundtrack.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, loving it.
I was listening to Just Like Honey today, and I think that's the last song in Lost in Translation.
It's the very last song.
And it popped on, and I was like, oh, that's weird. I felt like I was in the movie because I was walking through the city, and I was like...
It's an unbelievable song.
It's such a good song.
Bravo, Sofia Coppola. Perfect ending. And we never knew what he said.
Maybe he just went, just like honey.
Yeah. You're just like honey to me.
She's like, weird. All right.
What do you think he said to her?
I feel like I had a theory about it, but I feel like whatever it was something that made her feel like special about that moment, but it wasn't something that was like, we're going to be together or let's get back together when we're in the States.
What if he would have said, in the next life, let's have better timing?
Oh, yeah, that's sweet. I think whatever it was like saying, like, something special about this happened here, but it,
Yeah.
it was just this one
I'll
moment.
never forget it or something like that. But it would have been better if he would have said this was just like honey.
And then, like, close up of her face being like, weird. Like, she's just like, okay.
Oh, no, I don't mean from the bees. I mean the song. You never heard it? I'll send it to you. It'll make perfect sense.
Just a really awkward end. Oh, all right. That sounds cool. Because I thought you were saying, I'm just like honey. Okay.
Now, I knew this song, of course, before the movie, but I don't think I loved it as much as
I know.
after the movie.
Sometimes you get an association with a song, and it makes you think of it differently after that.
Always with movies, if it's used properly in music. I don't know why Chris didn't show the whole scene, why we're just looking at a picture of an album. They probably wouldn't look at a picture of an album.
I'm just going to imagine it.
The whole thing we were talking about that scene. So you were listening, and you were just like, I just walked away from Bill Murray.
Yeah.
It was funny because I had Rushmore on this morning. And Bill Murray's fucking so good in that. You know
I know,
what I mean?
he's so good.
Like, I know it gets talked about too much to say Bill Murray's great. But in certain roles, he's unbelievable. You know? Look, now she has a little Pepsi that she's drinking.
Oh, she is so cute.
She's so fucking cute. I wonder if she's a Stars kid. I hope so. I hope
I thought she was his kid.
Well, it wouldn't be as good. It's like Rob Kardashian. I think we're at an age now, too, that we can just call Blac Chyna China. I don't think. I mean, the other China's dead. White China has passed away.
Well, this is the last dish of the day.
Aw.
No.
Dish.
Yummers.
Johnny Depp, he is suing his...
That's Johnny Depp.
He's suing his lawyers for malpractice. He's claiming his law firm...
Like, everyone should be able to do that.
Yeah.
You didn't get me my monies.
I didn't get everything that I wanted. Plus, malpractice should only be for a doctor. Let's come up with another name for a lawyer. Just bad lawyering.
He's claiming that his law firm represented him for years and then cheated him out of $40 million.
Jesus.
He has a very highly respected entertainment law firm. And so they colluded, I guess, with his TMG, which is his financial managers, for robbing him blind. They're saying that the suit claims the law firm built in its fee in the loans and skimmed the money off before Depp was entitled to his money. The lawsuit also claims the firm knew fully well that TMG was doing that, but never alerted Depp. And that Depp claims during his long relationship with the firm, he's paid them tens of millions of dollars in attorney fees, yet the firm never had him sign a retainer agreement.
I don't even know what that means. Retainer agreement. First of all, he's got TMG, which is bad for your jaw. Then he needs a retainer. You know what's so cute?
A dentist.
Hoda just came by and waved to that little girl. Just saw her and waved to her because she's gorgeous.
Hoda is so sweet.
I know. Hoda always waves at the right little kids. I want to do a song with her based on an old Sam and Dave song called Hoda, I'm Coming. So,
that's good.
Yeah. I think it would work out.
Hoda.
Here's what I wear. I'm worried about the sexual connotations. I don't want to be taken.
I see how it could go there.
Like
my
Hoda.
initial excitement, I didn't, I glossed right over that.
Look, she's looking over here.
Aww.
You know, the great thing is she's probably skipping school.
God, there was nothing better.
Oh, than skipping school?
So good.
I like skipping work. Like, remember yesterday I said I was sick? I wasn't.
What?
I was out smoking. I missed that song we were just playing, too.
Yeah, me too.
I like the beginning of that. No, don't put it back on, Chris. That's
especially
that's
not without
producing.
this.
That's underproducing.
Not without the clip.
Chris, you need to be in this room, because Vito seems like he's got better movie knowledge than you. Can we agree to that?
I'm not going to agree to that.
Okay. Tomorrow, movie contest.
Perfect.
Yes.
Yeah.
Can't wait to crush this.
A Chris versus Vito
Now-
movie contest, right?
Yes, Chris versus Vito movie contest. Winner gets to be the person who runs that, so they'll know what movies to grab.
Well, I hope you guys get used to me.
Do you want any parameters on this contest?
I don't need any parameters.
So you can go all the way back to the beginning of film.
All right, let's start this. Let's start 19.
No, let's go to the beginning.
Now,
Let's
this is
go
what
to the
makes
George
him
Méliès.
What's that?
He said George Méliès.
Now, this is what makes you a bad producer. I don't need anything. Are you sure? Because I'll do this. Then 1970 on. You know what I mean? Like, he just took out 70 years of film.
I know.
Because he didn't think. And that's what happens to me around here.
Let's go to the start of film, D.W. Griffith, Birth of a Nation.
He didn't know that. It's 1-0 right
Okay.
now.
Oh, come on. I can't start in the hole.
I also said George Méliès before because Gail referenced Trip to the Moon, so that's 2 points.
The contest hasn't started yet. It's tomorrow.
Contest always
But
started,
do
bro.
you see that you're already fucking...
He's got a couple of bullshit fun facts. That's fine. I'm gonna.
There's not bullshit fun
Those
facts.
are
Those
real.
are actual facts.
These are just facts, and they're not even that fun. They're just facts.
Yeah. And it's something that
Just
you
true.
would expect a producer to know. What you say are like little thing. That's exactly what producing is. Like, here comes two guys. They don't even wave to a little cute girl.
Yeah, that's weird.
They're idiots.
They're nothing like Hoda.
No, she's literally a star for a reason. All right, we got a break here. We got our boys coming in, right?
We have Joe Mackey and Sam Morrell coming in studio.
Nice.
Are they already here?
I believe so. Yes. Yes, they are. Joe
That would have been good producing to let me know that.
Joe will be at American Comedy Co. in San Diego from Thursday, October 26th through Saturday, October 28th. Go to AmericanComedyCo.com for tickets.
He's a road dog.
And Sam will be at Charlie Goodnight's in Raleigh, North Carolina this weekend, October 19th through 21st. Goodnightscomedy.com for tickets.
Great club. Fantastic club. All right. We'll break. We're back with those guys. Bennington. Whoops, you got to do your bit.
Go ahead. We're still on.
Dish segment is brought to you by Dish. Dish listens when no one else does. Dish tuned into you. To learn more and sign up today, call 1-844-CALL-DISH. Go to dish.com or visit a local retailer near you.
Welcome back to Bennington. Sam Morrell and Joe Mackey are in studio.
Yay!
Joe will be at the American Comedy Company in San Diego from Thursday, October 26th through Saturday, October 28th. Go to AmericanComedyCo.com for tickets. And it'll be at Bananas Comedy Club in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey, November 3rd and 4th. BananasComedyClub.com for tickets. And Sam Morrell will be at Charlie Goodnight's in Raleigh, North Carolina this weekend, October 19th through the 21st. Goodnightscomedy.com for tickets. And People Talking Sports and other stuff, that comes out next week on MSG Network after the next post game.
Good to see you, fellas.
Good to be back, and it's great that Sam's show got picked up by MSG. It's part of their Saving Electricity campaign that'll get you to turn your TV off before you fall asleep after the Knicks game.
It's a rebuilding year all around over there.
You were off for a while.
I was off. Yeah, they wanted to maybe review a possible mistake, and they decided to bring it back.
Wow, good.
Against all odds.
The show, sometimes it's just comics just having fun, but other times it's like, well, here's an actual real guest.
Yeah, I mean, Mackie was on with John Starks.
Great.
Talk about a mismatched panel. I mean, one of them was a great New Yorker, the other one's just a nuisance.
I was 1 for 19 on that episode.
You're wearing your pirate stuff today.
Well, I'm always a Pirate fan, even when the baseball records don't allow them to go to the postseason. I think they should get an automatic bye, but they haven't changed that rule yet.
I don't know whether you've been following this Yankees thing, but it's just buzzing. It's just buzzing around here.
Tying yesterday was pretty amazing.
It was unbelievable.
Man. Yeah, I mean, finally, Aaron Judge woke up.
Yeah.
That was powerful.
Well, that's what happens when somebody is in the bucket. They're going to come out of it, just like you don't want to get hot at the wrong time of the year like the Indians did,
Yeah, I mean, the Yankees are looking like a scrappy team. That could, I mean, I love that guy Altuve, though.
Right.
He really is a scrappy little player. I love him.
Now, has this ever happened to you before where you kill at Dangerfields and you're like, oh, I got it now. And then you're going to
That's
do
the
a
only
big
club
gig?
Mackie gets booked at.
No, I just think it's great. It's great that the Yankees have tied the series 2-2. I mean, they're a bunch of underdogs, a ragtag crew from a small market, no money.
But the most, like, you're a Pirates fan, the most exciting moment in the history of the Pirates is the walk-off in 1960. You need a Yankees in your sport to say, we just did something fucking great.
Yeah, David needed Goliath.
Yes. And everyone loves to see Goliath go down. You know? By the way, who's the David and Goliath between you two?
I'm the underdog. Mackey's the villain, definitely.
I'll tell you what, it's going to disappoint a lot of David fans when I walk the floor with you.
Yeah, I'm pumped because this is like a Yankees team where they didn't just buy everyone.
Yes.
Like, they grew the talent. That's how it's what they think fans just want, like us to buy Jason Giambi or whoever it is. But we want to see homegrown guys. It's fun.
It's very rare for your organization.
Very rare.
But you got to admit,
our GM's name is Cashman.
Yeah, that's funny. But the postseason has been really fun, really, really fun.
It really has. Yeah, I'm pumped, man. I think there was a point last night when the Astros were up 4-0. I was like, yeah, this might be it. And they just turned it on. There
is never another sport where you have the time to see people just holding onto their face, biting. You know what I mean? Like the tension of the playoffs is unbelievable.
There was a good few innings where the Yankee fans looked like they were audience members at a Sam headlining.
Are you talking about the 8th and 9th inning? Because in this case, I agree. A lot of cheers.
Damn it.
Damn you. And what do you guys think in basketball this year?
Oh, we're still recovering from that injury last night.
That was unbelievable, right? Yeah.
That was tough, man. Yeah, that's it sucks when even the opposing team is like, oof.
Yeah.
But it was cool to see the Rockets beat the Warriors. I was definitely into that.
The Rockets got a good team.
Yeah. I like Chris Paul a lot.
I've always liked Chris Paul.
I heard someone say that, the Rockets will have a Hall of Fame point guard for all 48 minutes between Harden and Paul, and that's interesting. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
They're both such great players.
Chris, who are you a fan of in basketball?
I'm a Knicks fan. I've always been.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
You be proud of your Knicks. Go Knicks.
If the Knicks tank again this year, they maybe get another young guy and they have something interesting for the future. I think that's what you got to do. I know there's the no tanking rule, but you got to. If you put the wrong guys on the floor, you'll lose.
It seems like it's worked for the Sixers. It's like the Sixers are Philadelphia's very excited now, and you're like, yes, this is the payoff for years of tanking. You know what I mean? Just years of laying down. They played one game. They had 3 squirrels and a chipmunk. They set up. It's just like there's nothing in the rule book that says they can't use small mammals.
That is a better Air Bud. Just go smaller for the sequel.
Tiny and cute.
Yeah, man. I think tanking is. The only bummer is when you go to a game and you're like, man, I really want to see Kawhi Leonard, and Popovich is like, nope,
not going to do it. No,
he needs to rest.
Yeah. No, Joe, look at your life. We never talk sports with you guys because Sam gets this one gig, and now it's Sports Town.
Well, look, we don't have to talk sports. We
can't not. You're a sports
I want to talk Air Bud. I mean, they're like, there's no rule that says a dog can't play on the team. Well, there shouldn't have to be a rule.
I'd be like, they're already kicking with a donkey over there. Why can't I bring a dog in?
If they can have a dog, what's next? Horses? A giraffe? An 11-foot giraffe? Yeah, I'd like to see a dunk on that guy.
Yeah, for a basketball movie, we got to do it. Vito, what is the greatest sports movie of all time? Take your time before you say it. And this is a non-joke question.
I think you got to go by sport because best sports movie across the board.
Yeah, I have no problem going by sport.
By sport.
Where do you want to start?
I love, for baseball, there's so many good ones. My personal one is Bull Durham.
That was my answer.
It's a rom-com.
Yes.
But it's a damn good movie,
It's one for the ladies to enjoy as well.
The ladies do love that.
I do love that movie, though.
It's so
There's some
good.
great dialogue in that movie. I don't know. What's your favorite baseball?
I'd have to say either Major League.
Oh, Major League is great. Yeah, I forgot
That's
Major League.
also Vito's.
Or Major League 3, Back to the Minors, starring Scott Bakula.
Dude, Back to the Minors. Matt and I have talked about this. It's a good Downtown Anderson. That was a good movie.
Yeah, and Bakula.
You have picked Vito up to a way that you would not believe because he loves all the Major League franchises.
I love Major League.
I'm going to say, and I could pick Bull Durham at any time, but I'm going to say because of the mythology, I'm going to take The Natural.
Oh, great.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm always thinking at a ball game when somebody hits a shot, it's going to hit the lights and explode like The Natural. And that's the best soundtrack of all time.
That is good.
Bum, 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 bum. That he literally hits the cover off the ball, and you don't, as a viewer, go, "Oh, that's corny." You know what I mean? You're like, he did. He pulled the cover off the ball, and it's also he's like Rudy, right? He shouldn't be there, but he's not a pussy like Rudy. Right? You know what I mean? Like
Mackie is very anti-Rudy.
I hate that movie.
I don't have. I get exactly. You know who else hates it? Joe Montana.
Yeah,
who played there at the time.
He said that no one tried to turn in their uniforms.
None of that happened.
And if you see,
can't make that up.
You can look at the actual play on the internet. Oh, natural theme song.
Yeah.
Well, that just gives me more gravitas. You can actually see the play on the internet, where the actual play where Rudy comes in, and another giant guy like hits the quarterback first, then Rudy falls on top.
Yeah, right.
But it was the meaningless last seconds of a blowout. And we're supposed to be inspired by that? No, he failed. The whole movie was about pursuing your dreams and going nowhere.
Right.
Sad and dark and depressing.
Yeah, college sports, you break it down, you're like, if you're not making the top 1 percentile, you're wasting your time.
Yes, because you didn't get an education.
No.
You played football.
It's a full-time job.
In a sense, that's fair, though, because the colleges screw the students, too.
True.
Like $60,000 for what used to be 12.
Dude, I was talking to a girl the other night from Columbia, and she's paying $60,000 a fucking semester for Columbia. And I'm like, here's a little education. You're going to be in deep, and you ain't getting out of it. This is like buying a house you're not going to live in. You know what I mean? It's like just buying a house for strangers somewhere. Bum, bum. But Rudy... Also, the coach, I forget who it was, Dan Devine, I think, was the coach then. And he goes like this. It was my idea to put that kid in. Is there a scene where everybody's coming in and throwing their shirts, telling me that they won't play?
That's my
None of them cared. I was the one who said, yeah, let's throw the kid in.
So what's the best football movie?
The best football movie for me is not even close. It's something that the NFL hated because it was so true, and that's North Dallas 40.
Never saw it.
You guys are going to love it. It's 1970s, drugs, and it's the Cowboys. They're not calling it the Cowboys, but it is. And you see what dope addict, sexual assaulters, it's like if Harvey Weinstein played every position on a team.
A lot of good blockers.
Yeah. What do you got, Gail?
My pick is going to be Little Giants.
Little Giants.
Ed O'Neill, baby.
I love that movie.
Al Bundy.
What was their big play?
That was the annexation of Puerto Rico.
The annexation of Puerto Rico. Icebox.
You remember that ESPN TV show Playmakers when it came out?
Yeah.
And they had the gay tight end, which was like a little on the nose, I thought. But
yeah, right. The NFL shut that down. The NFL.
Yeah, they were not happy.
We're not. He goes, you guys can keep doing the show, but we're gonna not give you billions of dollars a year.
Well, I remember they had the running back was like the older running back, and he was like had a domestic violence suit, and he was like I'm a warrior on the field. You just want me to shut this off when I go home? And we're like, yeah,
yes,
you gotta shut it off.
Yeah,
you can't just hit people off the field.
That's why we also want cops to shut it off when they get home with their wife.
That would be so shooty.
Football.
I guess any given Sunday for me.
Any given Sunday.
I loved it. Same. Willie Steamin' Beamin', baby.
Jamie Foxx. I'll just say that.
Love Jamie Foxx in that movie. That was the mobile quarterback, and I liked that it tackled the race stuff where he was like, they wanted him to be a cornerback, and he was like, I'm a quarterback.
Do you know who got that part first and could pull it off? Puffy. P. Diddy was given that part. And
now you need someone with real chops for that.
Yeah.
And Jamie Foxx killed it in that movie.
They bring Jamie Foxx in, I think, after, the last person on it. Again, James Woods great as the drug-dealing doctor.
and Lawrence Taylor as the drug-taking patient.
Yes. I was worried that he was going to be typecast after that film. Joe, do you got one that you love?
My heart says Jerry Maguire, but my brain says necessary roughness. Scott Bakula. Yes.
Did that also, was it Sinbad in that? Also,
yes.
Yeah. What a now,
love Sinbad.
Why were they the kind of bad news bears? What had happened to their school?
They had been gutted by NCAA infractions by the former coach, and as the NCAA often does, they punish all the innocent people after the other people are gone.
What was also great is they ripped off the major league announcer character.
Oh, that's right.
in
They
that.
did.
Yeah.
Love that guy.
What's his name? Adam Sandler's buddy was in that, right? He was.
Rob
Rob Schneider, yeah. And this was after, I believe, he was forced to crawl around naked in front of a gay filmmaker. He, Don't Forget About Us, hashtag Don't Forget About Us, he brought up that story.
What is that?
Early in his career, a gay filmmaker got him to crawl around on his hands and knees. Was he naked or just...
It actually inspired his movie, The Hot Chick.
Yeah, there you go.
I believe he was naked. They said he was told to act like a dog.
No, why would he be naked, though? What part could this be?
I don't know.
Well, dogs don't have clothes. It makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah, okay. Good point.
They said the director's dead also. It was a big time.
Why can't we find out? Why won't you say who the director was, Rob?
He should.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think it was probably Francis Ford Coppola. But
Oh my God.
No, just his career is dead. He's doing fine.
Yeah, he hasn't had a movie in quite some time.
Has there ever been anyone who made so many great movies in one decade and then just kind of...
I saw a Francis Ford Coppola movie recently that I thought was really good.
What was it?
It was
his daughter, maybe.
It was in Japan. It was about the missionaries.
No, it was Scorsese.
Oh, that was Scorsese. That's I don't follow directors.
By the way,
Coppola
If it's not
owned the
Scott
70s,
Bakula, that's
man.
where my brain
I could not stay with that movie. I turned it on, and by the time they're boiling and steaming human beings to make them drop the Christ thing, I'm like, I can't. It's
Come
too
out.
much.
Just
Just porn. It was like torture porn.
Mhm.
It's the stuff that Chris goes into the dark web for.
Yeah, it's all over the place. The snuff.
You watch that?
I've watched it before, not in a while, but
It's
yes, I've seen it.
disgusting.
It's
I couldn't
awful.
do
It's horrible. Why would you do it?
I just want to let everyone know Joe Mackey and Sam.
Oh,
Rowan in
don't, not
studio.
after that. Not
Have a
after
torture
snuff.
porn?
You're going to mention snuff and then plug their stuff.
Sam and Joe's podcast, Keeping Joe, is available now on riotcast.com. And Sam's going to be at Charlie Goodnight's in Raleigh, North Carolina this weekend, October 19th through the 21st. Goodnightscomedy.com for tickets. And Joe's going to be at American Comedy Co. in San Diego from Thursday, October 26th through Saturday, October 28th. AmericanComedyCo.com for tickets.
Now, before we jump into other sports and their movies,
Yeah.
you guys, the career's going great, right? There's no complaints? Or are there complaints still?
I'm really going up, and Sam's riding my coattails still.
We need to get this guy stronger coattails.
Yeah. Is there another leap you guys want to make? Is there a dream that you haven't hit yet?
I would want to challenge Sam to an MMA match.
I would love that.
KY jelly.
Pay-per-view.
Yeah. Shirtless.
Shirtless.
Tight
On
little
the
pants.
dark web. This will also take place on the dark web. All right, now we're going to go to boxing films.
Okay.
Oh my
And
God.
now
That's,
this is more
I think this is
difficult.
the hardest one.
Well, one a year has come out since 1938. Every year has a boxing film. Who wants to go first and say Rocky?
You know what? Like, my heart says Raging Bull, but I freaking love Rocky. I really do. The first Rocky is such a good script, man. It's just
unbelievable.
It's and like the classic underdog story. Like it's you want to watch it and be like, this is cheesy, and then you get into it and you're like, fucking.
It's such a great Philly movie because you just don't even want to win. If you're from Philly, you don't think you can win. You just want to be standing there at the end of the night.
Yeah.
That's fucking heartbreaking. When this is over, he's going to just go back to being a fucking thumbbreaker again. That's
Yeah.
why Rocky 2 is despicable. Rocky 3, even worse. You take away the beauty of that initial thing. Is I was just going to have one day in my life
Yeah.
that people are going to be forced to respect me.
I guess I go Rocky. It's tight. It's such a good movie though.
Rocky 2 is my favorite. He finally wins. He gets out of there. Hope for everybody.
But that would never happen in real life because that guy would have been waiting for him and carved him up.
Well, it's a real story, right? I mean, it's
It's
the
a real
first
story
one.
about a bum.
Yeah.
You know what
Chuck
I mean?
Wepner, the Bayonne bleeder. Right?
Yeah, who used to bleed on other
Yeah.
people. And
That Simpsons episode where Homer just he tires
Yes,
the guys
he
out.
was. But what happened with Wepner is he stepped on Ali's foot, and Ali went down, and it made all the papers. And like, this some fucking nobody, some bum from
Yeah.
Jersey, did this thing, and Ali was yelling, "This son of a bitch stepped on," you know.
It was credited as knockdown, but if
Yeah.
you watch the replay, it was not. It
Yeah.
was-
He did actually step on his foot?
Yeah, he
'Cause
stepped,
I
he
know
stepped
that's
on his
the
ankle.
Yeah.
He tried to break it, I think, but
By the way, that's smart fighting.
Yeah.
If you're ever in a barroom brawl.
yeah, sure.
Don't fight fair. That's for losers.
Vito, what's your favorite of all time?
I think the fighter deserves credit.
I was
just
just
because
gonna say that.
the
Great,
fight
yeah.
at the end of the movie is actually not. It's not Mickey Ward's best fight. It's a really unimportant title fight, and the characters in the movie are phenomenal. Like, there's some great shots.
It just was also a lie. None of that stuff happened. That was a real family, and he never won a championship. His brother was a crack addict.
Christian Bale is unbelievable in that movie.
Unbelievable in that movie.
That one scene in the prison with his daughter, I was like, oh my God.
And I love the way that he's just not. He can't stop moving. You know what I mean?
No, he's like a pure like Daniel Day-Lewis type.
Yeah, that's
he like can't stop.
Phenomenal.
I'll give you one of the worst boxing movies I've ever seen. Ali. Will Smith.
With Will Smith.
Fucking terrible.
Yeah.
I walked out. It was a bore. You know how hard it is to get me to walk out of a movie?
Particularly to be boring playing Ali.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the most
doesn't even
exciting
make
athletes
sense.
of all time.
I thought it was terrible.
I've not seen it.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything to add.
It's going to be on a plane
but you know
what? Up to San Diego.
Can I change mine from Rocky 2 to Cinderella Man?
Oh,
Cinderella Man, yeah.
Although if you look at the records of some of the fighters that are like hyped as his opponents,
they
were like under 500 fighters, and they make the guy Corn Griffin seem like he's a mountain of a man, and he was actually like 5'10".
But I do like that era of fighting. You know what I mean? Like that old school era. And that's why I'm going to pick Gentleman Jim Corbett as my favorite of all time.
Never see you give me homework. I've never seen this.
Errol Flynn played this, and he was the first dancing boxer ever, right? Nobody had ever thought, I'm going to move away from punches. And he fought against the great John L. Sullivan, and who was just the old school, you're going to stand and punch till someone's dead.
Yeah.
Someone's dead or retarded.
78th round.
Yeah, they would go that long too, and they had to fight on barges and stuff. And Gentleman Jim Corbett was like the Ali of his time, where he came in and tried to, he cut promos like a wrestler. It's a great movie. It's from the 40s. Errol Flynn.
Wow.
Check it out. Chris Stanley.
Some people don't think this is a good movie, but I enjoy it. The Great White Hype is I find
it's very funny.
Fun.
It's very funny.
I find that to be an enjoyable movie to watch.
So that was Sam Jackson, right?
Yeah. And Jamie Foxx.
Right.
Again, playing a smaller part. Will you?
He was in Elite too.
Yeah.
Jamie Foxx. He's been in every movie we've talked about so far.
Yes.
God bless Jamie Foxx.
Yeah, Jamie Foxx, and now of course he's got. Is it called White? Yeah, White Famous on.
Sure.
I think it's Showtime. Maybe it's HBO. All right, what sport are we missing? Hockey.
Oh, and my pick is Raging Bull.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Someone had to
I
say
know.
it. It's
Yeah,
great.
yeah. No one picked it up, but I think it's hard for me to say anything other than Raging Bull. It's perfect.
We haven't done
And
hockey
it's
or basketball.
Okay.
Hockey, it's got to be. There's so many, but I think for me, if I had to choose, maybe Miracle.
I think Miracle too.
Miracle's damn good.
Yeah, that was good.
It was literally the best moment to be an American that ever happened, and it was a hockey game.
That's a bummer.
And I enjoy all the food.
Man, Kurt Russell killed that role too.
Well, I'm gonna give you guys. This was a small movie called Goon. I don't know whether you've
I
seen
love
it.
Goon, dude.
It's unbelievable, and they're making a sequel.
I had Colton Orr, the old Rangers goon, on my sports show, and he showed me how to fight, and it was terrifying, even though I know he was faking it.
What was he saying?
He put a Rangers jersey on me, and he put a Rangers jersey on himself, and they put a GoPro on my head. And he was just showing me how you get balance on someone on the ice. So he's like throwing me around. His hands look like hams.
Right.
They're humongous.
And all the punching, it was tight. Everything was.
Yeah, it's like he told me they don't punch how you think they're going to punch. They put their hand like up here, and he just keeps going boom, boom. But like you think there's going to be a wind up, but they just hit you quick.
It's like rabbit punching.
Yeah.
You can't get the leverage to wind up on the ice.
Hockey fighting back when it first took off in the States, it was 90% of the game. I grew up in Philadelphia, and Dave Schultz was everything in that town. People loved him. He couldn't get a drink. He couldn't go out to dinner and pay for anything. People would just think of him as the badass in their neighborhood. No one ever even thought of him as an athlete. They just thought he was like the tough guy in the neighborhood. Chris, hockey.
Slapshot to phone.
Oh yeah,
That's a great
That's a
one
really
too,
good one.
man. I haven't seen it in a long, long time.
Yeah, me neither. That's the only. It's been too long, but Paul Newman rules in anything.
When that was also the Durham Bull of its day, where it was the minor leagues, you're playing for the purity of loving this thing that you're doing. You ever notice all those movies remind you of stand up? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's like, yes, I'm not on the biggest show tonight, but I'm on a show. And I want to kick ass.
Yeah, it's kind of like in The Wrestler with Mickey Rourke. They have that scene where they all see each other and there's like that camaraderie, and you kind of feel that a little bit.
How could you not like that part of, to me, The Wrestler, except for the daughter part, which was as typical as everything, but actually like, hey, these assholes are here, and we're going to give them the show of their life.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
so great.
That's what Mackie says in the mirror before every gig.
Well, if they're your fans.
We'll do a podcast together. Joke's on you, Mackie.
Those people literally are, they do look like comedy fans. The fans of the wrestler
Yeah.
sitting on those chairs.
So different.
They look like Legion of Skanks fans.
Legions of thousands and thousands of skanks.
They're actually going like this. And that thing they're going, is Gomez here tonight? Do you got a hockey?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
I'll pick up again another kids movie. Mighty Ducks is a fucking great
Mighty
movie.
Ducks.
Oh, wow.
And I will tell you, as a kid growing up in Florida, it was like everybody went to go see that movie, and the next day, every boy was just like, I'm going to try to join the hockey league. Like, because we didn't grow up loving that sport like the way kids up north did. So it was like immediately got everybody into hockey.
What's sad is later fat kids find out they're not good goalies. But in the movie, he's so fat he takes up more. What do you got, Vito?
It's D2, the Mighty Ducks. Because
Not even the first one?
No, D2 because they took the story of Miracle. They took the story of the 1980 Olympic hockey team. They put it with kids in the Junior Olympics, changed Russia to Iceland. And
yeah, but we don't have a long hate for Iceland in this country.
I do from
speak
that
for
movie.
yourself.
All right, what sport are we left with?
We got video games.
Oh, we never did basketball.
That was a tough one.
That is
No,
tough.
not for me.
I got
What's yours?
Hoosiers.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Matter of fact, I can't even.
Hoosiers damn
I
good.
can't even make it through Hoosiers without getting a little choky.
That Barbara Hershey was one fun
She
piece.
was.
And Gene Hackman, pretty easy on the eye as well.
Just the drunk dad in a fucking asylum. He's not even in rehab. He's just in some tie down,
Ugh.
and he's listening to that shitty thing, and he's yelling out, "I coach these boys." Fucking kills me. Makes me have a drink. I get so depressed. I just start drinking tequila immediately.
Gene Hackman's like one of the all-time guys that like he's like never in the same conversation with like some of the iconic actors, but he should be.
so
He's
funny.
100%
I
of
love
the
him
time.
so
100%
He kills
of the time.
every role.
I always put Hackman and Duvall in the same spot. Like those guys have been the best thing in great movies for fucking decade after decade after decade. And when I had Duvall came in here one day, right? And he wasn't even scheduled. He was at Fox pushing some movie, and they say, "Hey, there's another place across the street." And he goes, "Let's go," because it was an independent thing. And he just came walking up here, and they go, they walk him down the hall, and they go, "Robert Duvall's here. Do you want to?" And I go, "Yeah." And I had to see the movie. I wasn't prepped for it. But
Gotta love the one Jew in The Godfather, man. Tom Hagen.
Unbelievable. But after he badmouthed a icon by saying he's the worst actor of all time.
Who?
Do you think I should say?
Please.
Or not say?
Yeah.
I'll just say that he has a movie out right now.
Wow.
And
he's an icon?
An iconic actor.
Wow. And he said it on the
No,
show?
didn't say it on the show.
Said it off air.
Oh, we can't say it on that. So maybe off air you could tell us.
I will tell you.
Okay, good.
I'll do that for you.
I like that you protect
You know,
him.
he also said that Sam Morril is a terrible comedian off there, and I will happily.
The only reason I just showed him on my phone. I go, look at Sam. Do you like this guy?
Do you? You know what's great basketball? Well, basketball's kind of the subtext, but
No.
the Great Santini. You ever seen that?
Oh God! Of course, I saw the Great Santini, and makes me miss my dad, and that's Robert Duvall.
Yo,
He's
yeah,
the great
he's the
he's the great Santini. You got some tears for me, baby. You got look at mommy's little girl. He's this Marine dad. He has a sensitive son. He's fucking unbelievable in it. Reminds you nothing of any other, when we're bringing up The Godfather, not like that guy at all.
And they also have the on-court scene where he wants this kid to hit the kid.
Take him out.
Yep.
Take him out. God, it's fucking amazing.
We're talking basketball subplots. Yeah. Porkies all day. Hell yeah.
Well, let's just go Teen Wolf then. I mean, which I hate a movie where you're making, you don't want the guy to use a superpower. He's a fucking Teen Wolf. Use it.
Inspired Airbud.
I would love to see Teen Wolf versus Airbud. You got one.
Yeah, he got game by Spike Lee.
Yeah, so good.
The fact that Ray Allen's an amazing basketball player, yet for the rest of his career, people would call him Jesus Shuttlesworth.
I know.
Speaks to how amazing that movie was.
Although I couldn't enjoy it fully because my mom covered my eyes during the nude scenes in that movie. True story.
They were very nude.
She was right to do it.
It was amazing acting by Rick Fox to play a womanizer in that movie. I don't know how he pulled that off, but that was impressive.
I think what's the single best thing is when there was just clips and people are going, Jesus, and you got that pumped up thing when you're younger, like you think, hey, maybe I'll be the next. You know what I mean? When you're 11, you're dumb enough to start to. No one can call you like a liar when you're going, yeah, I'm going to go for it. I think I'm going to probably be the next Magic Johnson.
Okay. That movie was really great, and that Buffalo Springfield part, it's just in your head.
Yeah,
always.
I feel like watching that movie right now.
Me too.
It's so good.
Turn off this stupid radio show. Just put on this movie. Spike, when Spike is on, there's nobody like him as a director, and yet there's never a flawless film. There's always those crazy Spike moments.
Yeah,
in every film. All right, Chris, what about for you?
I've always been a huge fan of Blue Chips with Nick Nolte.
Blue Chips is fun.
Yeah.
And then two guys that went on to play for Orlando, and they still didn't get a championship.
Yeah.
People
They were
forget
close.
Penny Hardaway was one of the greatest, one of the most popular people. Chris Rock played his fucking doll.
Yeah.
And then one injury and never got it back.
So sad.
6'7" point guard.
Yeah.
He was great.
I thought Sam was going to say Space Jam.
The thing that I didn't think about Space Jam is I just don't think that we would have won that. I just didn't buy that the aliens would have lost that.
I don't know, man. Bill Murray's got a jumper,
Oh, Bill Murray. The way people love that Bill Murray. Chris, you don't plug anymore or what?
Oh, excuse me. Sam Morril and Joe Mackey are in studio. Sam will be at Charlie Goodnight's in Raleigh, North Carolina this weekend, October 19th to the 21st. Goodnightscomedy.com for tickets. And Joe's going to be at the American Comedy Co. in San Diego, October 26th through 28th. AmericanComedyCo.com for tickets. And he'll be at Bananas Comedy Club in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey, November 3rd and 4th. BananasComedyClub.com for tickets. And People Talking Sports and other stuff, that comes out next week on MSG after the next post game.
And if you're looking for a vacation, fly to San Diego. Go see me. Don't go to Raleigh and see Sam.
Or the way Chris says it, Raleigh.
Raleigh.
Now, San Diego lost their football team.
Yeah.
So everybody's going to be tuned out for you. And LA doesn't want them. It's really, it's
Well,
really.
they got the Rams who are looking all right.
Yeah. And everybody acted like that QB was a flop, and he looks fantastic in his second year.
Is his
never
last
know.
name Goff or something?
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not a QB name. He's got to win people over. It's almost like having the last name Shuttlesworth. I don't know if I believe this.
Shuttlesworth is taking us all the way. We're going to get our Shuttlesworth out of this young man.
Everyone saw his name and thought he was the worst player on the team.
So you got to be excited for Penn State. They're back in a big, big way.
They're playing good football. I'm not as big a follower of college sports as I used to be, but they are very talented. I'm just looking forward to the Pittsburgh Pirates in 18. Watch out. Pirates in 3.
But you actually grew up in State College, right?
I did indeed.
Yeah. That is, it's a picturesque town. And then I guess in the summer it gets very quiet when all the kids leave, or?
Yeah, it does. I love going back home then because you get a good seat at any restaurant. I don't get recognized or pestered as much. Just keep a respectful distance, fans.
I love the idea of, hey, we're eating. Okay?
So, yeah, we're just taking your order. He's like, please, enough.
I feel like I wasn't taking a picture of you.
Just say to the waitress, not now, okay?
That's always my go-to. Right tit or left. They're like, yeah, we're just going to ask you if you wanted another drink.
So we went through every sport. Now we're going to go into political films.
Well, we didn't touch golf, which there's some good golf
there
movies.
is some good golf.
You got
movies.
Caddyshack and Happy Gilmore out of the gate.
Yeah.
Which
Tin
I both
Cup?
love. Tin Cup is damn good.
Tin Cup is very watchable. Very
I'm going
watchable.
Happy, by the way. I'm going Happy Gilmore.
Well, I do like the
Happy.
premise for that he's got a great slap shot, but he can't skate, so he takes it to another place. And then, the cute blonde girl.
Amazing.
She's the mother on Modern Family.
Yeah.
How about Shooter McGavin, one of the all-time great movie villains,
One
too?
of the great ever.
The air guns after he makes the puddle. I love it.
It's the shooters there.
I
I
love
don't
him.
know what kind of what you've got in the water up here. God, he's the dickest of the dicks.
I eat pieces of shit like you for breakfast. You eat pieces of shit for breakfast?
Kanye literally put that in a song. That's how good that was.
It's so good.
Vito, don't say the Will Smith Magic Negro one.
I just found out that was a bad movie like a month ago.
The Legend of Bagger Vance.
I grew up loving The Legend of Bagger Vance.
Because you grew up the legend of baggy pants.
But it came out that time where Will Smith couldn't do any wrong, so I was like, here's another
he
hit
did
for
plenty
Will
of wrong.
Smith.
Go back and watch those films. We just brought up that Ali was made at that
It
time.
was pretty damn bad.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
For some reason, people would say Will Smith can do no wrong. None of those movies hold up.
And why didn't Uncle Phil help Will's mom?
Yeah, what was going
She's
on there?
struggling in West Philadelphia.
I know. Why can't
you
she?
have a mansion?
You left behind your sister.
I feel like she could have came along too.
Yeah. I'll raise your kid in my luxury palace. But
Right.
you're left to your own devices. Make your own Rocky movie to get out of that.
All right, John wants to jump into the golf part of this. John, what do you got, buddy?
I got that maniac, Shia LaBeouf, in
Yeah.
The Greatest Game Ever Played. It's a fantastic movie. At the end, it even touches your heart. But you look at the guy and you're
I
like,
did not watch
what
this
happened
film.
to this dude?
I've never seen it. Whose story was it? It was a true story, right?
Yeah, Wee May, the kid who won the U.S. Open up against the British's best up in New England back in like 1918 or something like that. But it's a historically accurate movie. Well acted, and you got the family dynamic in there. It's on Golf Channel all the time, and I can never not watch. I've seen it like a dozen times.
Oh, maybe I'll watch. Shia LaBeouf, I kind of got a bone to pick with because, directed by Bill Paxton. R.I.P., man. Look at that.
He's good.
What is your bone to pick?
Okay, here's my bone to pick. Shia, I know you're listening. Disturbia. Rear Window is one of my all-time favorite movies. Disturbia is the exact same movie, except with cell phones. And it doesn't work with cell phones, so they had to write in these dumb things where they were like, oh my God, he doesn't have any service.
But can you give Shia the fact that he was a child when that came out?
Yeah, I try.
Like he probably had never even seen Rear. Did somebody just
Rear Window still holds up as one of the best ever.
His battery's dead. He's on a flight.
They have to keep writing in.
He's at a comedy show. His phone's in a bag.
He's like, why is she dead? Sprint.
My friend Jesse just brought this up that he was making the point that he thinks that Scream was the first horror movie where they had to kind of address the cell phone thing, and then they used it to the advantage because that's how the killer is like.
The killer called.
So he's using, but it was
Scream was actually a very clever movie.
I liked
there was
it.
plenty of.
and it holds up.
Yeah, it
Rewatch
does.
it. It's
Yeah.
still really fucking entertaining.
Yeah, and I can't say that about the Chucky films, but Scream.
I feel like Skeet Ulrich still brings chicks back, and he's like, "Have you ever seen Scream?" Just puts it in. That's how he closes the deal.
He is literally going to have on his tombstone the poor man's Johnny Depp.
He is, and you know what? I don't mind it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm aware that he's poor man's Johnny Depp, but I'm tight on cash. So come over here, Steve.
Same little money. You get the same enjoyment.
That movie broke some good actors.
Yeah.
Liev Schreiber, right? Or was he in the second one?
No, he's in.
He shows up in the one scene in the first one.
First of all, Cotton is one of the
Cotton,
greatest
yeah.
fucking
He's in a couple-
characters of
yeah.
all time. Yeah.
Great character.
And Rose McGowan, I think, was
Yeah,
assaulted
the
for
blonde.
that movie.
very,
yeah.
very pretty
That
in
was
that
the
movie.
one, yeah.
Yeah.
Timothy Olyphant in the second one. He's a killer actor,
Yeah.
too.
while we're talking historical golf movies that John brought up, there's a new movie called Tommy Honors. It's a British film. It's about it's old and young Tom who modernized golf and won the British Open.
I don't know this, but
well, see, I'm sorry. I tried to bring some culture to your life. Where's the nude scene? That's all Sam's thinking about.
The golf?
Talk about butts. That's all Sam's act is.
Golf, tennis, and boxing make better sports movies than the other because there's tension in it. So even if you're not a golf fan, you can sit there and buy the backstory of who this guy is and be like, that's the putt he has to make.
It's an individual, too. There's no team. It's one person against everything.
Yeah, the whole thing, every football movie is like, are we bonding now? Denzel is our coach.
Yeah.
Can we bond as people? But when you're watching golf or boxing, you're just like, this guy gets a chance to pull himself out of the gutter.
And boxing movie, too. It's just like, boxing is just visually so beautiful to watch. It's so dramatic, and I just feel like it lends itself visually.
Another one we forgot for football, and it brings it home with Gene Hackman. The Replacements.
The Replacements is
a fun movie.
It's stupid and it's fun.
Dumb and it's pure fun.
Yeah, Keanu. I mean,
love Keanu.
Let's say it. He's the poor man Skeet Ulrich.
Skeet Ulrich wishes he could pull off John Wick.
No, it's odd for people always make fun of Keanu, but there's at least 10 movies you're like, this is a good movie.
Love Keanu. Who hates on Keanu?
Critics
and
film lovers.
If he has to do an accent or, I mean, I don't know what that accent was in The Devil's Advocate.
Oh, yeah. He falls out of it like 10 times.
Well, that's Florida. That's a Florida accent that he's doing. Yeah, if he has to act like he has a job that like there's one movie where he's a doctor.
And you're like, no.
Somebody's got to give?
Yes.
Oh, I found him to be quite charming in that film.
You better get some rest. Your heart, man. Your heart's going to explode, dude. Bogus.
How about that movie, My Own Private Idaho? Remember that one?
Love that fucking
Holy
movie.
shit.
Yeah.
Unbelievable movie.
He was, and I did believe him playing gay. So there's certain things, he can move over and do. Chris, you're giving me hand signals that we got to wrap this up.
Yeah, we're running out of time.
Do you realize this is our two favorite guests that we have on
this
this
is
show?
our favorite show.
That was nice of you to include
it.
salmon.
I know you won't come without him, so we got to lock it in.
I will come without him.
Joe Mackey and Sam Morrell have been in studio. The Sam and Joe's podcast. There's a lot. There's a lot.
I know, but we have plenty of time.
Sam and Joe's podcast, Keeping Joe.
No, it's too slow. I mean, make it sound good.
Okay, all right. Keeping Joe is available now on riotcast.com. That's Sam and Joe's podcast. People Talking Sports and Other Stuff. That comes out next week on MSG after the Knicks postgame. And Joe Mackey, he'll be at American Comedy Co. in San Diego, October 26th through the 28th. AmericanComedyCo.com for tickets. And he'll be at Bananas Comedy Club in Hasbrook Heights, New Jersey, November 3rd and 4th. BananasComedyClub.com. And Sam will be at Charlie Goodnights in Raleigh, North Carolina this weekend, October 19th through the 21st. Goodnightscomedy.com for tickets.
And who's the producer of your podcast?
It's the Riotcast. So it's Bobby Kelly's network.
Yeah, there's a great bunch of podcasts on there.
We also got Phil Hanley on there.
Yeah,
Canadian, Canada's worst, I say.
Yeah, yeah. He's like if Celine Dion was bad.
Yeah. And
we also have Liz Furiotti, the cellar manager, on the mic.
Who, to me,
rules.
Yes, she's just comedy. She's
what it's all about, man.
Yeah,
I love her.
And of course, Chip Chipperson, part of that whole thing, and that's a unique podcast. All right, that's it for us, everybody. Thank you guys so much for being here, and we'll see you again in 1974.
Ladies and gentlemen, the evening is over. We hope you all enjoyed yourselves, and we'll see you all again in 1974. Good evening!